like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
all right, so we got another great conversation for y'all today. We're gonna talk about the shrinking middle class. What does that mean for us as Americans, us as Black people? How much is too much for rent? I don't know. Is $100K really the middle class? There's a bunch of ways we can get into this. But before then, I'd love for this amazing panel to introduce themselves. And we apologize for being a little late. Sometimes we get stuck in the back chat, and yeah, we just be talking about the most randomest shit. But we're here a little late, but on time. At the top, G, introduce yourself, brother.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check that out wherever you get your pods at GSHPODI.
Beside him, y'all see him, Johnny P. Talk to us, brother.
What up? What up? What up? It's your man Johnny P, host of the To Be Fair Show. Every Sunday, 4:30, you can catch me, your boy Q Rail. Glad to be back. Got another one lined up. Yeah, glad to be here. Looking forward to a good convo.
All right. Below him, FBA's own. He was missing in action last week, but he back. David Walker, talk to us, brother.
What's good? Just here to do my best to give the best FBA perspective that I can to represent for that. And shout out to all the regulars in the chat. Looking forward to interacting with you.
Shout out Fat Boy. And another one that was missing in action, Charlotte's favorite, Mr. A Black, the mayor of Charlotte himself. Talk to us, brother.
What's up, everybody, man? Happy Black History Month. We here again. And you can follow me, Black is Gold. And, giving my best Pan-Africanist perspective on here.
What they got into a Black History?
All right.
I'm just messing with you.
we got a couple ones. This is a back chat conversation. Paul Presley and Marcus Johnson are considered the first point forwards in basketball. But now that we're off that, you're muted. You muted.
Do you know any of those players before you read that?
Marcus Johnson is the dude from He Got Game. I want to say the big dude that came on the court. Not He Got Game. White man can't jump. He played for the Bucks. I know him. I don't know the other dude, to be honest. Like he was a big dude with the tank top that came on, the colored tank top.
Yeah, I know you talking
I don't
about.
know the other dude though. But nonetheless, like I said, that's a small little tangent. Shout out Scottie Pippen. But fellas, let's start off with this the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was Sunday. I don't think that any of us has spoken since then. Which y'all lose on parlays. Everybody was telling me not to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, talk to me, fellas.
Hey, shout out my boy Keith. I lost a big Benjamin.
Damn.
Betting on that boy. Not a Lone Ranger, but at the job.
Okay.
But yeah, man. It ain't come through for me this time. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I didn't bet. I wish I did because I definitely called the blowout. Everybody in the house thought I was crazy, but I just felt like Kansas City kind of been skating through a lot of games this season. They won because they got Pat, and you know how to win at the end if you keep it close. But I said, if somebody get a lead on them, it's gonna get ugly, and it got ugly quick. So, I mean, I ain't into the betting yet, but I might have to get into it because I've been kind of on point with that shit. But as far as the game, and I guess we'll get to the halftime show.
Gotcha. Trey, any commentary before we get there?
Oh man, I was just happy to see the halftime show. If that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
G?
Yeah. The game was trash. I mean, one of the worst products to even Like it was just such a terrible experience watching that game, man. It was trash. I ain't gonna lie, I don't like the Eagles.
Oh, you a Cowboy fan?
Yeah, I really don't. And it's like I'm not as a it's like it's something about
Oh, that's what this is about.
I definitely grew up a Cowboys fan, but I'm not as like passionate of a fan, but I still don't like the Eagles like as passionately. So I really don't like the Eagles. I really don't like Carolina. I really don't like the Washington football team with like just
you hate Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you? I mean, well, look, man, we can unpack a whole conversation. Honestly, you know, you want to root for that liberal art school of slave owners and things of that nature that, you know.
You're not talking about the team that had the owner at a lynching, right?
Right.
Talking about the Cowboys?
Yes.
What lynching was he at?
Whatever that picture was when
Ruby Bridges, bro.
See, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't at a lynching. He wasn't at a lynching. This nigga was just. Hey, look, man. You got.
They was just out there persecuting blacks in the street. That was it.
You gotta understand. The same man doing the lynching is also the same man giving brothers chances that other franchises don't give either. I mean, he's the brothers swear by. I can say that. Michael Irvin's my guy, man. If Michael Irvin's, Dion swear by this man, I'm gonna trust the black folks who come to the building.
Michael Irvin sweating with a Jerry curl to this day, but that's another topic for another day.
See, that's back when football was entertaining right there, man. You know, but the game was pretty.
They used to shake off the CTE.
Exactly.
We starting to show off code as hell, man.
Yeah, we are. So but let me ask y'all this: maybe if we segue a little bit more on code, what mixed baby light skinned guy had a worse night, Patrick Mahomes or Drake, Mr. Aubrey Grahams? Let's segue this into that Kendrick Lamar conversation. The halftime has been mixed reviews on the internet. What was y'all thoughts? Y'all enjoy it? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Still Drake got the bigger L. I mean, you know, Pat's a winner. He won the last 2 Super Bowls. It's a team sport. He ain't out here asking for the smoke. You know, he just had a rough night. Drake asked for the smoke, and now he want to be a victim wearing bullet hole shirts and stuff. But I love the show. I love the show. The reaction, I think, in the commentary after is what's more fascinating. But you know, it was cool. I was like, you know, watching it with my parents and my younger brother, seeing the different reactions of the generations. It did start a little slow, but it's like I was kind of I look at Kendrick like a Marvel movie. I be paying attention to like all the shit around him because I know he putting messages and stuff. And at first I was like, he could have came a little harder, but then I just remembered he just performed with Dr. Dre, and then he did all that Good Kid and that All Right and all that shit that we kind of wanted to hear already. So knowing him as an artist, he not gonna do the same songs over again. Like he about to come with.
Yeah, he did All Right at the Super Bowl, I want to say.
Yeah. Like when he did the mix with Dr. Dre, he did all that shit that people want to hear. So it's like the messaging behind it, and then the crowd. People's like, "Oh, the crowd is dead." Like, bro, the minimum ticket in there was $3,500. Who you think was in there? Like, it wasn't that many of us, and they cheered when it was time to cheer. But you know, I'm looking at all the videos being posted, people around the world reacting to it, and whole crowds and bars and clubs going crazy watching this dude. And I'm looking at niggas on TikTok from India breaking down like the messaging behind it, and they talking about Black history and all this shit that he means. I'm like, yo, this shit is bigger than the beef. Like, you got the president in there looking uncomfortable. You know, it's just like it was just so many different layers in a moment for this man. And then he still said the dude name and didn't call out the lawsuit and still did the pedophile line, and just like the shit was a masterclass. Like he had and then the week before that he won 5 Grammys. So it's like, bro, anybody still hating on this dude who got on the stage and basically is like, I'm protecting my culture. I love my people. And you can't find nothing you like about that. It's like something wrong with white people and with niggas. Like the white people is like, I don't really worry about them. I expect that. They do this every time we perform. Like somebody brought up all the articles from the last black performers. They do this every time. But it's us that is like, bro, this dude just said he love y'all. Like he got us on black women, black men, dudes with grills, dudes with dreads, dancing, hood shit, like intellectual shit, like any type of blackness you want, he putting it on there, and he protecting our culture and like saying like y'all ain't about to take it from us, like, and niggas is mad at that. I just couldn't believe it. Like, all right, you it's boring to you and all that, cool, but you still didn't think it was dope that this man is just unapologetically black on the biggest stage in the world and broke Michael Jackson record, like, and probably more people watch because you gotta imagine like people that's watching in groups, watching on one or two TVs, like, so the numbers even more than that, and then the shit on YouTube, 35 million views the next day, like, it's just crazy the numbers he's doing, and like people still trying to deny his influence, and oh, he need to thank Drake and all this shit. Like, why nobody else can't blow up like this? Like, he ain't the only one. Pusha didn't blow up like this. Meek ain't blow up like this. Kendrick been hot, and then he just got the platform to show he hot, and people like it. And some people just they just don't want to think, man. I guess, like, but the shit is dope, like very memorable, and like I respect the man, and I like him so much. I mean, Q might know because he followed me for a while. Niggas know I love Kanye. I've been defending all his stupidity. But even he, when he like started try to hate on Kendrick, I'm like, bro.
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
missed this part.
oh yeah, on Twitter. Like last week, the week before, he was like praising Kendrick, like, oh, he beat my op and shit. But then this week, he like he turned on him and shit, and was
Inconsistent,
basically
huh?
like, yeah. And I'm like, bro, I had to like mute you for a while. Cause I'm like, don't do this right now, like. Don't do this because we defend all your shit, even though it's hypocrisy and hypocritical, and you talking about all white people racist, but you got a white woman and a white baby mama and begging like all this shit. And I'm like, bro, not right now.
You
Like
say it's not consistent, black.
it's not consistent. He begging
I
for
mean,
attention. And I get the marketing because like I've been riding with it. I get it's a marketing tool with the shock tweets and the shock value, but bro, let this man have his moment. Like you looking like a bitch right now, for real.
I
And that's
mean,
my dude. That's my boy.
Be,
But like,
and,
I
and
think we
before
got to
because of
give
that,
it.
that's the second icebreaker. We're gonna make it there. And either way, Johnny, hop in on the Kendrick. Let's
Oh
say
no, I was just gonna say,
we gonna go Kanye in a second.
yeah, we'll get there. But I'm just saying, people hating on like, cause you got Kendrick, but I mean, we had to go through Madonna slash the Who, Bruce Springsteen,
Kia
like we
Rock,
had to go through
Shania
like
Twain.
kid, like we had to go through all of that, and like what we did, we sat
We
there,
Zero.
listened, we clapped when we were supposed to, and we got out of there. Now it's their turn. Like and then the numbers speak for itself. Man just won all them awards like the week before. And did he come out and put up the biggest numbers? Like he deserved to be there. The numbers speak for itself. Like A Black said, the influence speak for itself. He did like he made history last year, and you got to give him that you know that red carpet and let him do his thing. And I think it was a beautiful thing. The message was on point. He was a menace. He looked at that camera and said, "Say Drake." And like he did what he was supposed to do. He did his A-Town stomp on him, whatever you want to call it, victory lap. But yeah, it was great to see as like a hip hop head. It's good to see when the culture coming back.
Yeah, and to
I
add to
dig it.
Johnny real quick, like we can watch their music and appreciate it. Like we don't be crashing out when they got white artists and stuff. We might crack a few jokes, but we invented all this music, so we know how to appreciate it. Like we can flip to 95.1 and listen to fucking Hoobastank and Nirvana and shit and appreciate their music and then go back to our shit. But when they see us, it's like, oh, they taking over the world type shit. Like,
Not
bro, like
a
it ain't that serious.
I mean,
Like, but
we are, but y'all, yeah, calm down.
yeah, I mean, we are. I mean, we are the culture, but it's like we know how to appreciate all music and stuff. And they're like, oh, it's the worst Super Bowl performance ever. Like now y'all just reaching. Like out of here,
I didn't even know the Who performed at the Super Bowl.
but it was nothing but white artists for years.
Like nobody know not one Who song.
The white people do.
They got that song, "Who Are You?" Who was that? No.
No, they don't. That might be you too.
Yeah,
No,
they trying to get an international appeal now, and they realizing our music, reaches the world now. And the NFL want to be international, and like the world don't want to see them rock bands and shit. They want to see Rihanna. They want to see Usher. They want to see fucking Kendrick Lamar and stuff like The Weeknd and all of that. Because our artists be international for real. The white people, I mean, maybe Billie Eilish, but who they got right now?
I heard they doing Miley Cyrus next year.
Can't.
Nah, ain't no way. Not a Jay-Z still there.
But I mean, like, I think the Kendrick performance, like if I was giving it out of 10, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it was like really good, but I think for Kendrick, like if what I've seen, if his best that I've seen is a 10, I can't put this at the best Kendrick like sample of a live show that I've seen. If that's what I'm saying, so that's why I can't put it at a 10. But I still think it was good. But I think it was like I'm kind of judging too because the audio, some of it won't like where it needed to be in terms of like you couldn't hear a part of it and stuff at times. So it's like like those types of things. But I think the two fairest critiques that I give the say 8 out of 10 is I do agree in that for the venue of the Super Bowl. I respect he went like heavy GNX, but the playlist could have been like it could have been more fire, more he's got bigger tracks that he could have performed that would have maybe potentially appealed to a wider audience. So I think that's a fair critique. And then the jeans. I think the jeans is a fair critique as well.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about these until afterwards. When people start posting.
Yeah, that's why I didn't either.
Yeah,
but I didn't stop caring about any contemporary fashion. To be honest, I don't know if that shit supposed to be fire or not.
I will say Usher was better last year.
Trey, is that on code jeans or is that FBA approved jeans or nah? I need to know.
I'm saying that last year was better is off code, but as far as the jeans, man,
Usher was better.
Usher was more entertaining. He's dancing. He's
that was a way. Come on, bro. Like, that was the best performance overall.
But half the Drake fans would have rather heard Lil Wayne sing "Lollipop," bro, and it's like it's bigger than that. I mean, because I'm saying like it seems like the main people hating on, or don't see how big this performance was, and they're comparing it to Usher and those are the same ones that wanted Lil Wayne to go sing "Lollipop," and it's like I think you missing like
going on musical performance, bro. Like
I got to go back and look at Usher's. I can't really remember.
Usher was like one of the best ones I ever seen. Like
he had the hits. He had the hits.
Yeah, I could imagine, and he was coming off the residency too.
Exactly.
Like, but I guess this would probably be a good time to make this segue. You already kind of started the conversation.
They need to let Kanye do the Super Bowl.
Kanye has been running rampant lately. I think last week he had the Sean John. This week he had the swastika hoodies, or crew necks, I want to say. But he's also just went on a tirade on Twitter. It seems as though like some of it has encapsulated Kendrick Lamar and his performance, but more than that, Kanye in some of his recent antics has sparked some conversation in the chat, in which I think it'll be a good discussion for us here, where there's some talks about, is Kanye West inconsistent in his messaging? Trey, whichever one of y'all want to start it off.
Yo, I didn't get a chime in the last one, so you mind if I jump in? All right, so I think that Ye is consistently erratic, but he always has a purpose to what he's doing, and part of the way he does it to be provocative is to get you to pay attention to what it is. And I guess it's on people that understand it to try to explain the message. But real quick, man, A Black, man, for a second it sounded like some FBA nationalism coming out of you when you're talking about that Kendrick Lamar show. That's why I think it was so special, because it showed, because in contrast to, there was no red, black, and green and none of that. They weren't talking about African Americans. It was American flags and showing like our culture, put that on full display unapologetically against uh, Drake, a foreigner who headed on to hip hop, and he's getting. I don't know if he can come back for this because now he's suing and making everything worse. So, and it's also good not to see a degenerate representation, which we so often see that, like with Usher, like he's going to be doing something sexual or something like that. Kendrick Lamar, he was just, patriotic and paying homage to us on Foundation of Black American Freedom History Month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I almost can't believe they allowed this. But
I agree,
Drake
like,
crossed them so bad that they allowed this, which is crazy. But
and
anyway,
yeah, for the 1000th time, like I don't really have no real problem with FBA. I just have a problem with anti-Africanism. Like I believe they can go hand in hand. I'm FBA. I'm from here. My family from here. We still got our land from goddamn early 1800s from here. So I get all of that lineage stuff, but I just still believe that you can cross the ocean and build relationships and leverage the power of actual nations behind you, and that don't mean that I gotta rule out what you built here. But if I gotta play the role of the Pan Africanist, I can do that too.
Yo,
But
Black, I don't disagree with that, man. But would you be willing to do that and not center Africa? Like center your people here first, and then prioritize us, or you like your people here are just as prioritized as have the same priority as people in another tribe in Africa who prioritize their own tribe. Like, are you able
nah,
to
I
prioritize
think
us or no?
I think you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Like I don't
It's
think I
not. I
absolutely
don't not. It's not with priority. There's only one number one priority.
Hey Q, what was the
nah.
original question?
Yeah,
Okay.
listen, they turned this into a side quest.
We saw Q camera shut off and we
They said,
This
hey,
nigga
bro,
Trey,
we
man.
got a chance.
This nigga Trey, man. This nigga Trey will like, yo, this nigga, this nigga was like, hold on, I gotta go back to this.
got railroad.
And it's-
Trey gonna talk about what he want to talk about
oh
every
my
single time.
goodness. Oh my
But
goodness.
Kanye and is his messaging inconsistent? I think that's
No.
where we was at. I think that Trey, you was trying to build the bridge. I see what you was doing there, but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
man. That's what
let's-
Kendrick, that was the purpose of the show, man, because it really did a good job. But you know what I'm saying? Send the olive branch. That's what we're here for. You know what I mean? Like that. So I couldn't let that moment slide, bro. Keep that FBA patriotism alive, man, because we are a nation within a nation. Let's go.
Yeah, I was riding with Kanye. He was saying the craziest shit, and I was finding a way to make all of it cool until he started hating on Kendrick. Like he was talking about fat chicks, Jews, white people, broke niggas. Like I'm probably a broke nigga. I'm probably a broke nigga in his mind, and I'm still like, yeah, nigga, go get it. But
What's the
like,
most
bro,
out of pocket thing he said?
he was going Sean John. He was like, some women like getting beat up. I'm like, all right, he trying to write. I know some women that told me they like being roughed up. Like, so I'm really I can find something right in everything he said. But I ain't like him hating on Kendrick at that moment, man. So I was like, let me give him a little break, and now I get my guy.
He said he liked the show, didn't he? I thought he gave him kudos. He just said something about it's messed up. Didn't he locked up?
Nah, his shit was deactivated by Super Bowl time, so I ain't seen him say nothing about the show.
Oh yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, I guess he was able to say everything he said,
video.
but
yeah, Yeezy.com got deactivated by Shopify.
I could imagine if you're selling swastikas.
This nigga, man.
But G, go ahead and hop into the conversation.
No, it's like look, man. Like it's like the only thing that I recognize is like somebody said earlier, when this nigga got a rollout, got an album dropping, he tends to have a correlated outburst of something that's like typically shock factor response. Like, I can't believe what Kanye said. And
let me drive back home this Hitler point,
man.
That I said. Let me what
he
said? He said Elon stole my Nazi swag. I said he's a wild boy.
I mean, the timing was good though, man, because they just gave Elon a pass, so now they lost their credibility. So you know what I mean? So
and I don't fuck with the ADL because they get the most attention when Kanye rants and they be on this, oh, he needs to worry about humanity. Like y'all out here fucking wiping people off the planet right now, and it's no problem. But this nigga's tweets is more more important than bombs in Gaza, and y'all trying to displace these people. Tweets is hurting y'all. Like, why y'all even still following this nigga? I don't get that either. But the ADL full of shit, and I do feel like him going as hard as he did was starting to expose a lot of that, because then it's making other people comfortable to talk about it, and it's making white people that don't like Jews talk about it too. Like he got 2 million new followers doing that rant. So I mean,
yeah, that's true. But see, I think I do think though maybe he's on one of those Diddy tapes. I think that might be.
Who isn't, bro?
I think a
who
lot
isn't?
of people are. That's why.
Yeah,
they
but I'm
like it.
saying, but I think in his case, this is how he's trying to make sure.
Well, that's why he would say that Diddy's a Fed, I imagine.
Yeah, because he knew
Who
Diddy
isn't,
was a
man?
Fed and was talking shit to him, and now he's like collaborating and doing business. So it's like, why would you do business with a Fed? Come on, think. I mean, it's like, come on, man. It's just like just putting pieces together. So it's like maybe he's on them tapes. He trying to make sure he can helps cover his own ass pause. But at the end of the day, it's past the point to where I kind of tune it out, and I know I'm gonna check out the album. I just know, regardless of what he's been saying, I'm gonna give it some spins to see what the music talking about. So I don't know if this is coming anytime soon, but I'm not like on some like I'm gonna boycott the music type shit. I'm gonna listen to the album.
Yeah, I think we've been dealing with a Kanye clone since Donda dropped. Like, this might not even be the real Ye no more, because after Jesus is King and then Donda, the Vultures is really when I'm like, like G said, I'm a listen because I'm a fan, but that's my first time listening to Kanye on Vultures and Vultures 2, and I'm like, bro got a demon on him or something right now, because this ain't right.
You ain't like any songs off that album?
Yeah, I didn't listen to
the first Vultures was all right. The first Vultures was.
I liked it, like musically, like I still can bump it, but I'm saying the departure of his rhetoric was so left from Jesus is King to Donda to now Vultures. It's just like something is up with, bro.
Well, that is also true. Even if we're trying to direct it back to the, I guess, Kanye inconsistent messaging.
But here's where I will give him the consistency, because he told you early on. He told you wait till he get his money right,
right.
And then he made a song called Black Skinhead.
Yeah.
And then he said he wasn't cussing no more either.
And when he made Black Skinhead at the time, he said that's the best verse of all time. He went on a whole nother rant about how that was the best verse of all time at the time period. But I do think like when you listen to, if you follow his discography, like how he acts, like he's always been in the weird kind of like, talking about bitches bleaching their asshole, and he's had some weird bars along the way where it's like this nigga into some freaky shit, like especially on Watch the Throne too, like he's got a lot of freaky bars, man. So
of course.
Not like Biggie freaky, but yeah.
I mean,
Beautiful Dark Fantasy.
Kardashian, bro. Like, of course he got like,
It was with Amber Rose, yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly got some things going on. So I'm not totally surprised, but like it's like I'm really trying to figure out what is the object. Like is he trying to prove he's uncancelable? Like, what's the objective of trying to offend everybody?
Because my thing is
really targeting one group.
That to sell nothing for real. Like, I don't think he has to shock the world to sell. Like, I feel like nigga.
Yeah. But every time he does this, he is selling something, and I guess that is the interesting thing. Of course, it's shock marketing, but yeah, go ahead, A Black.
As also with the Kendrick thing, because I mean, I know he's spoken about his porn addiction and all of that, and during that whole Jesus the King Donna's era, how he was stopping with the porn and all of that. So then on the Twitter,
he dropped it on the timeline.
He's posting like hella like videos. Like I'm like
back on the titties, bro. He back on the titties.
But that shit made me start thinking about his kids. I'm like, bro, I know his kids follow his page, and if he,
I guess his daughter is old enough now. For sure.
I know his friends do, so I'm imagining them seeing fucking huge penises and like niggas fucking and sucking. Like, bro, what is this nigga doing? Like, you got children following you. Like, And then the fact that all the shit is allowed, like sometimes it's like, all right, don't delete the man, but give him a 30-day break or something, Elon. What you doing?
All right. I guess that'd be a great spot to kind of pause it because of next week. We do want to kind of get into the freedom of speech, and unless you have something non-related to that part, Trey, that you want to get into. But where he's at, I think that's a good spot to kind of give a teaser for next week, where we'll talk about should there be limits to freedom of speech in general? But Johnny,
I think like y'all say, I think a lot of time if you look at it on surface level, it sound inconsistent. It sound a little crazy. Sometimes I think a lot of it is he do miss the mark a lot of time when he does it, but there is a consistency to the behavior. It's like sometimes if you see like a bunch of spots on a graph, you might not understand.
What would you say the consistency is, or do you think that it's just like saying the most outrageous thing?
I think he's there. There's a certain principle about like him having his ownership and fighting back against the certain system. I think he does go a little farther when he like sometimes he says stuff that's just like too crazy, almost kind of like a Trump, where he just says like outlandish stuff that takes up the headlines. But if you really like pay attention, there a lot of time there is substance to what he's actually like saying and trying to do. Whether he's selling something, whether it's for his own selfish good. That's
right. I guess but still going to I guess to what you were saying, you said there's some level of consistency. What would you say outside of like the shock jock, most outrageous piece would be a consistent thing that that he kind of like pushes or stands on?
Well, like ownership, like even like from like the easy and breaking through from all of that to this now. I mean, I think he's
right now. Is he talking about ownership?
Shopify just dead at that ownership shit. Like,
well, yeah, but say like right now, I haven't heard. He hasn't talked about ownership at all. I don't want to say.
Well, yeah, not like I said, I'm not really. I gotta see what I ain't really seen nothing about this. The new shit. I've been, kind of.
Or the one before this, like the I don't think the whole vultures thing has really. Vulture 1 and 2 and this hasn't really been about ownership. I want to say.
I think Vultures 1 was Vultures was all fully independent. No,
I'm saying like his rants wasn't based around ownership.
Yeah,
like prior to that, he was going on his ownership rants when he was
maybe
dealing
like
with Adidas and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, maybe some of the new ones he's lost.
He hasn't really been.
He's lost it, but I think up until maybe some of the new ones, that was a consistent theme. But like I said, sometimes like I do think he gets a little, he misses the mark sometimes. But I think overall, I think that's what he might be trying to, preach and trying to demonstrate is the power sometimes.
Yeah, and John, what you were saying, like he is consistent. He does say that message. He's steady beating the drum as far as ownership. But that doesn't mean all of his rants are about ownership. But all of his rants tend to be like the common denominator is he's always been against the establishment. And that's kind of what, hip hop was in the beginning and what music was before. I guess Drake represents like just making popular jingle type songs. And then, Kendrick has a message, and Kanye, he's provocative. He's very artistic. He has a message there too. So
definitely.
Yeah, so
I think that's probably like one of his main things that I would definitely say was most consistent. Is that
none of his albums sound the same? Oh, my fault. Yeah, and he's always provocative in a different way because none of his albums are like sound the same. Versus your Drake's where it's kind of the same old what you're gonna get, which basically like with the auto tune. Which Drake with 808s and heartbreaks basically. Would we have Drake without 808s and heartbreaks?
We wouldn't have this version of Drake. I don't know. We definitely wouldn't have So Far Gone.
We would have a lot of stuff without 808s. Like that opened up a whole like that was like the beginning of a whole new wave.
Yeah.
Respect to the GOAT.
And then what A-Black was saying with as far as the kids, that's one place where I don't really have a good rationale for that because like the collateral damage to the kids having to see that. But then again, I mean, the mother's Kim Kardashian. They live in Hollywood. They go to school with all these other people who are involved in all these weird things. Like Ye tweeting something is probably like.
So do you have a defense for him just putting the corn on the timeline? just off the strength.
I'm talking about with his kids, where I was like, man, it's messed up for a man with kids. But then I don't think he's the typical.
But like a guy that has at least
Your
hundreds of
kid's
thousands
mom
of
is
kids.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah,
No, I get
they're
that.
not the only kids on there.
Yeah, I would say like he has a following of let's just say he has 100,000 of kids that follow him. I think it's probably more than that.
Kim
Or
K
just
tape is
posting
about 20 years
like
old
the
now.
corn on the timeline in general.
Man,
You cool
I would
with
say
that,
even,
or is-
even more
He
than that
posted
though.
actual porn.
yeah.
Oh shit, for real?
Yes, like actual porn.
A lot of it, just popping.
Yeah, he was just in his bag. He was just in his bag that day. I don't know.
But I thought the algorithms would block stuff like that. That's crazy.
No,
that's
like
crazy.
Twitter is the Wild West to an extent, for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think
The only thing that Twitter limited in the algorithm was his Jew talk. The porn they let, the nigga talk.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was only the Jew talk.
Man, which is wild, because that's another thing Ye's been consistent about is he's been at war with the people who are like control a lot of these things. So that is kind of like a weapon that he's accused them of using. So if they're using that weapon and they bring out guns, then it's like, I think he's going scorch or earth with these people. We've seen him drop $1 billion bag, just throw that and say whatever, forget it, over going scorched earth with them. And then look, he's still relevant and still like his artistic genius allows him to always rise to the top. So that's why I'm like, the things that are crazy for us to do, it seems like he's able to do those things and they don't work out poorly for him. So I'm not thinking that that's an accident, that maybe he didn't realize that the things would work out for him the same way. He can't be like this consistently, like getting out of the lion's den that he put himself in. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's like that kid in class that's just bad as hell all the time, man. After a while, that you stop sending them to the office. You just start ignoring them. It's like,
especially if you play football real good.
Yeah, exactly. Got a
Kanye.
talent.
Kanye, he the star quarterback that just be acting the ass in class.
So isn't that good?
The school they had odds. All them boosters on the football team make sure that the school actually runs. They got new books.
It's not good for the other students.
This is the quarterback that's taking you to the 6A state championship. He did it last year and the year before that.
Right.
But he acted ass in class though.
Yeah. But look, hey, I think one place where he's not really consistent, Trey, though, where you said about bucking against the system, is he actually will be like, it'd be the opposite. He'll be wanting to be a part of those circles, and then when he doesn't get the access, it's like, oh no, fuck that, like somebody played me. Or he gets the access and something goes different than what he thought, because when he was partnering with those companies, it was up, and he was talking cash shit about how much money he was making, him and Adidas, and then as soon as things didn't go as well, it's like, oh, fuck Adidas, fuck the system, fuck this, they did this to my contract, So he's not necessarily just always fuck the system. He kind of goes back and forth on that too. Like he partners with Nike, then says fuck the system, then partners with Adidas and says fuck the system, and who knows what might be next? Might be Answer or some Chinese shit, but who knows? But I just say that he's not always like consistently like independent.
My favorite thing about Kanye is that as soon as he get a B beside his name, he about to talk
going crazy.
He about to
crazy
every time, and he gonna let you know that B, and he gonna call everybody broke.
Oh, that's
a perfect. I think that's a perfect segue. As we start making our way into this the shrinking middle class conversation. We do got a graphic that my dog G he sent in, but before then, we got, I don't know, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us on the panel. I'll pose this question out to y'all. How much is reasonable to pay for rent in 2025?
And like, let's give some specs too. We talking like a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. We talking a studio. We talking a 2 bedroom.
Whatever your living situation is. Right now, we'll put the baseline at 1 bedroom.
I mean, if you're looking in Charlotte, it's gonna probably run you anywhere. I mean, if you want some decent shit, 14 to like 1 bedroom, 14 to about 2, depending on location.
So that's reasonable. 14 to 2 in Charlotte.
I think. I mean, I don't know if it's reasonable, but it's reality. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if that. I don't know how reasonable. I mean, I think reasonable
Exactly.
would be a little less, but I think that's like reality of it. It's going.
But what you have to deal with, like what the actual going rate right now would be. You're saying 14 between 14 and 2
somewhere,
for the 1 bedroom. David Walker.
Man, yeah, I agree with John. None of this is reasonable, and then that's part of what I hope will. I think a lot of this has to do with the border. Honestly, if you want to talk about the low wages that comes from having cheap labor here, if you want to talk about the demand on the resources as far as housing and everything else, so that causes everything to get more expensive. And like I think salaries went up for a while as rent went up for a while, but not for like
we'll get into it
that
soon, but it's not been comparable inside even like the
it's not. But I'm saying the only change at all I would say is if you get into like some corporate job where 6 figures doesn't buy you what it did 15 years ago, but 6 figures today is more attainable at the same time. So it's, you know what I mean? So that part changed.
That's inflation, but I gotta you gotta answer the question.
Oh yeah.
Feasible. if you don't like the word reasonable, we can use the word feasible. What is a feasible amount to pay in rent? You're in Charlotte, South in 2025.
In this neighborhood, man, you're paying like close to 2,000. If I got a 2-level studio, it's about that. And my friends like all with 1 bedrooms, they're paying about the same price. So if you're gonna get more than 1 bedroom, you're really looking like real steep. And the houses around here have gone up crazy too. So yeah, and then when I first started looking here, rent was like $600 cheaper, and that was like when I first came to Charlotte, like that was like 2018, 2019. It was like $600 cheaper, and then in Columbia,
like right before the pandemic.
Yeah, and then even in Columbia, I had like a 3-bedroom condo that was real big.
Everything
for like $900, bro.
Yeah,
but I mean, even living like John used to be the housemate, whatever. That even then, I think we were paying, man, like $1,300 for a 2-bedroom or something close to that. So
yeah, like in 2017, 16, something like that. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that sounds fair for the time. Johnny, you went. Trey, you said close to 2. G.
Yeah, I want to say on like the lower end, you might be looking at like around 1,000 on the like lower end of the market for like a 1 bedroom in a somewhat okay area.
And so, where are you at?
In Durham, like in a triangle in North Carolina. Yeah, and generally speaking, in a triangle, I think
you should. Let me look. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm thinking like
you talking about prices that was close to that when I was still in Durham.
Yeah, I'm like, hold up. Let me think, because like not every like it depends on where, like that's the thing. Some of these neighborhoods, man, depending on where you stay, it can vary so much. So it's like, if you want to be
I can give you the average rent price in Durham right now.
What they say?
$1,500.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But is that? I don't know if that's for a 1 bedroom though. That's what I'm saying.
To put that in right now.
I think for a 2 bedroom, 1,500 is a good.
$1,370.
Okay, so that's why I said I think I think on the low end of the spectrum, you can find some deals where you can get in for about 1,000, even still right now. You know how they be having specials and stuff like that. Yeah,
type scenario.
Yeah. But generally speaking, yeah, you're gonna be mid thousands to 2,000s typically. And honestly, like the cost difference between a 1 and a 2 bedroom is really kind of marginal in most cases when you look at the layouts. It really don't be
This is a fact.
that crazy of a difference for the extra bedroom and space. So yeah.
Gotcha. A Black,
Yeah,
what's feasible, reasonable to pay for rent in 2025?
I mean, it's a lot of variables. It definitely depend on the area, it depend on the job market, how much people getting paid.
Just a
But
reasonable spot in Charlotte.
I
Like
think
you ain't too
reasonable
hood.
in
It's
Charlotte.
decent.
I think anything over 1,500 should be
Okay.
going towards a mortgage or a house. Like
Okay.
I don't believe like that's too much to rent. $18,000 a year for something you don't own. Like it's crazy to me, and it's just rising. Like I mean, I've been blessed. The owner of my property is a black man who keeps my rate low. When I first moved here, my shit was $525. I think I'm at
Whoa.
$800 a month now.
Oh, you blessed.
But yeah, I
For
got
real.
probably the cheapest on my block, and he always reminds me of that too. But that's just because I searched out a black owner specifically, and I let him know my situation. I communicated with him like, bro, I could pay $1,500 a month, but I could also be saving that and building. So we had a conversation, man. And I just was blessed to find somebody who wasn't like super greedy, because he can get somebody to take my spot for 15, probably 18, because I'm right uptown. And I know everybody's not that lucky, but it's just like it's just greed going on with price gouging. It's going up. They like raise it up, see how much they can pay, how much they can pay. I think I was staying in the university area, and my shit was maybe like nice apartments off WT Harris might have been like $650 a month, and then they came with the rent increase of $1,200. I was like, bro, what?
Ooh.
Like that's
Yeah.
more than double. And so I don't know if they were
I
trying
remember
to
them days. That's
get
definitely where I was
people
staying
out of
at, right off
there,
WT.
but it's like that's ridiculous. So I left there, was staying on a friend couch, and then found this guy's spot, and I've been here for about 8-9 years now, and it's allowed me to like save up, because I think about I wouldn't really be able to save if I had to pay some of the rent some of my friends pay, and then they're not even really able to enjoy their spaces because they got to be at work all the time, like, so I'm gonna pay $2,000 a month and not even only get to be here. I'm on the weekend, I'm trying to go out because I've been at work all week, so you're not even spending the majority of your time in the box that you're paying for. But I feel like anything over 1,500, you need to be looking towards rent to own or a mortgage or getting a property, because it's just getting crazy. Like, and I talked to my parents, and that's been in Charlotte, and they tell me, "Oh, we used to pay rent. I know inflation, but $200 a month, $300 a month." But then I travel internationally, and it's the same places. Properties like are super low, so it's only here where people are kind of like gouging shit. And then as a populace, we just keep paying these prices instead of people being like, "Nah, fuck that." Like, what you gonna do? Kick everybody out? The whole complex if they just say don't pay? So I just think like we just be accepting it, even with gas prices, even with anything, like keep raising it. People pay it, and then it gets normalized. And like, why would I lower this, or why would I lower gas prices? Because y'all keep paying it. So I think people gotta. I don't know what niggas got to do, but shit is just getting too high all around the board. a lot of ways.
Got you. So I guess I'll run down a couple stats and continue building the conversation. So the average price in America for a 1-bedroom is $1,750. I'm in Charlotte. The average price for a 1-bedroom in Charlotte is $1,300. Currently in America, 1/3 of people between 18 and 34 are living with their parents. Also, 1/3 of people or adults in America are living with a roommate. I think Trey, you used the word housemate. Maybe that's like the 2025 word of saying it.
I
But
mean, you're not sharing a bed or nothing. Roommates sound kind of crazy, like you got like a room you share like a dorm. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I got you.
Housemate kind of sounds like it's your partner or something. You know what I'm saying? Like roommate's pretty clear. Housemate kind of sounds like you got a partnership going on.
Nah. Don't let them do that to you, Trey. Don't let them do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Partners sound like partners.
Roommate implies.
Listen,
Yeah,
I didn't know if you
you
being woke or
room,
not.
bro.
I ain't know what that mean. I heard you say housemate. I was like, that's a new.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But
that's the progressive way.
So nonetheless, are we become like with pricing and people again rooming and or living with parents XYZ? Are we becoming a nation of renters?
I mean, kind of being forced to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got housing based on credit. People don't have money for down payments and stuff, and they kind of are forcing it because if you own a property, it's more beneficial for you to have renters. So that's
I don't know. As a nigga who's rented, I'm selling that bitch. Like I'm
you gotta talk to me about this before I make said investment.
If you own an 8-unit joint, unless you're just trying to cash out and retire, it's gonna be better for you.
Yeah, G worried about the headache. That's what he worried about.
Yeah, okay. If you talk about multi-family situation where you got like a 8-unit, okay, that's that you definitely need renters. But if you're talking like, a single family home, a unit here, something like that,
you're not rocking with
it. It's got to be, the conditions got to be right, is what I'll say. Like,
for sure,
certain things really got to be checked off. But the idea, like that, like depending on who you rent to, like what I've just found is that we lived somewhere for years and then rented it out, and you could just, the way that people live in the place was way harsher than how we lived in the place when we were there, and so. It just was like things that happened that we were like, how the fuck did this happen? How the fuck did this happen? And when niggas move out, it's like, damn, I got to replace so much shit that just the cost of, even if I wanted to get somebody to move back in, like my cost of spending that I'm gonna have to pay just to have it be move-in ready, and that headache of all that shit, it's like, I'm not saying you can't make it work, but for me, that's not how I want to try and make the bread in that particular case. I'd rather do commercial leasing than residential, is what I'll say.
I got to get in. We after show we're gonna crunch some numbers in a little bit. But yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I posed it to a couple people. So Johnny, Trey, if y'all want to answer, if not, I'm gonna kind of move on.
What's the question?
Are we becoming a nation of renters? Again, 1/3 of people live with their parents between 18 and 35. 1/3 of American adults in general live with a housemate/roommate.
I think definitely we becoming a nation of renters. I mean, you can even look at like the corporate banks and these corporate entities just buying up a lot of like residential real estate. That takes a lot of the inventory out of the market for potential buyers. It raises up the price of the inventory that's left. And then what are they going to do? They're going to turn around and rent those properties out to people. So I think that, has been an issue in, a lot of the rent and mortgage, prices going up. I think there's a lot of, capitalistic greed that's taken place since COVID. And the American public is the one that's, we're the one literally, bearing the brunt of it, paying for it.
Gotcha.
I think the homeboy Ron made a good point too about the private companies buying up the bulk of the single family homes versus it being actual people and homeowners. That's another and Airbnb.
Right.
People don't talk about the impact of Airbnb on rent.
That's what I was talking about. They just rent these places out, but it takes away the inventory for like the people
actual
who renters. At the actual renters. If a corporate entity buys it, I can't buy it, and if they're buying it at such fast paces that we can't even bid on it, it's like kind of like the bots in the shoes. They just buy it up too quick.
Yeah, especially post-COVID during the dip. that became maybe like the biggest investment that you've seen all these ghost LLCs starting to invest in was homes. And there's neighborhoods even in like the Charlotte area where the entire neighborhood of new builds are for lease, not for rent. And then they'll even play you with the rent, like the lease to own thing, which is its own kind of contract that they're making off on. But saying all that to say,
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. As far as like the same industry that caused the housing crisis, I believe intentionally, because they really made out like bandits with that. It's the same industry that's now causing this new housing crisis, where if they don't legislate against this, then we're going to have something else happen, because we can't have all this private money buying up all these houses, paying higher than the asking price, like sight unseen. Like the regular person can't compete with that. So it's a runaway train at this point. I'm not sure.
Listen, I know that you didn't like Kamala because she's Indian, I want to say, but
no, bro, come on,
that was something that
I like. There's cool Indians, bro.
All I'm saying is that was a policy that she did have. Was to stop the corporate buying of housing.
Did she? I thought that she said she was going to give us like $35,000 or something like that.
Well,
I didn't remember
she had that also, like she, whatever tax credit thing. But no, that was a part of one of her little things. She was all over the place. So I imagine
on that.
It wasn't something that she didn't. And there you go. She didn't like intentionally lean on it, in which I thought was smart. Like she had that. She had the whole, what is it? All the extra shit. Like when you be paying for tickets, like if you bought a concert ticket anytime recently, you know that you end up, like, say your concert ticket is $100, you end up paying an extra like $30 just in fees and this and this and this, in which they're trying to get. Well, they was proposing a policy to get rid of those things, but again, those weren't things that they actually was like intentional about smartly running on. But I want to play this and then go to a meme that G sent in to kind of spark a conversation and spark this conversation actually. So I'm gonna play this and then ask y'all a couple questions.
$100,000, the new middle class. I hate to say it, but I think it's actually 120. I think a staple of the middle class is owning a home. And in order to own a home these days, you need to make about $120,000 if you carry some debt to afford a $375,000 or $400,000 house, which is the average home in America. Your net pay on 120 is going to put about $7,800 into your pocket, but your house payment on a house like that with these interest rates is about $3,700 out the door, $300 in utilities. You're at $4,000 just for housing. Then you got $800 for health and car insurances. You got $1,000 for groceries, $300 to put gas in the cars, $150 on cell phones, student debt for $400. Maybe one of you still have a car payment for $500. $250 in credit cards, $100 for personal care, $100 for subscriptions. You're left with about $200. But this doesn't account for, again, if you have kids, a savings account, $500 a month into a Roth IRA, or putting money towards your debt to be debt free, or the big one is having fun. And just 3 years ago, you could achieve the same life for $70,000. Is $100,000?
Yeah.
And I guess let me go to this. This would be just a chart that shows like some proposed numbers when it comes down to middle class. Hopefully everybody can kind of see that. Mm-hmm. But with that as well, this is the meme that sparked this entire conversation. How to budget $100,000 a year salary, which after taxes, it looks like it's about $6,250. And again, intentionally asking what would be feasible, reasonable for rent.
And this is created by the good folks of Yahoo Finance. So these are from some quote unquote reputable financial journalists, if you will, who are looking at this from like a by the book personal finance perspective. This should be the breakdown. I think it's definitely interesting just to look at that, because $100,000 salary, like we're looking at this as a household budget too. We're not necessarily looking at this from the perspective of
And G, if you want to, you can just kind of read down the itemized as it is.
So we got housing, $1,875. Food, groceries, $937. Savings and investments, $937. We got to circle back to this one because I don't know if most people who was making this much money in a month would be putting that much towards savings and investments, even though I think it should be like that, but we circle back to that. If you got liquid cash buffer and checking account, 500. So I guess that's just extra. Entertainment, personal care, another 450 basically. Transportation, 625. Utilities, 312. Healthcare, 312. That's kind of expensive. Damn, niggas need to eat better, maybe.
Which part?
312 a month for healthcare for like a regular, like, do y'all like that's a lot, right?
Oh, you talking about? Well,
Probably
to me, I'm
over a
also
year.
looking at this as more than one.
This
person.
it's a month. It's a month.
So then, if you're thinking about like healthcare and just what you're paying in insurance, if you got like you, your spouse, and a kid, and then don't like have like yeah. Listen, I know that I'm paying more than $300 a month inside healthcare, like when it comes to insurance and shit like that.
All right,
like
we'll roll with it. Miscellaneous. I don't even know what that means, but 300 to miscellaneous, like
yeah.
Nah,
you know what that means. All right. So
budget.
We all have our miscellaneous budget that you know what you want to spend it on, but it's not
vice budget
itemized.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily always want to itemize it, but you know where it kind of can go. But I'll ask y'all: is this a fair breakdown? If not, what is off?
Man, that seems pretty fair, like for what it should be ideally. I think a lot of people probably cheat in the savings and investment unless you have it somehow taken out your. If you make sure you get taken out your check so you don't see it. Man, but the boomers had it so good, man. By being able to buy a house with a super low, not have all this inflation, having the salary compared to like cost, that ratio there. They kind of left us with holding a bag by just letting it slide. So I don't know. Are we gonna do something about this in this generation, and we just
See, I think that go ahead.
So as you go, and I'll alley-oop it to you. I did want to look this up really quickly because I know that you had some qualms about the savings and investment part and how they allocated it. This is just a Google search of how much should you save per year or per month, and I think they said 20% of your salary, which for what is that, 6,250?
That's about 16.
It was
it's close. It's not off. It's not off.
It was a little under, but it was
not bad. It's not bad. But this is where I was gonna say, like generally speaking, I think for a lot of folks, that's the hardest part of the budget to like consistently make room for is quote unquote savings and investments. It's typically like the thing that always either comes last or always gets depleted because there's always some emergency around the corner. And so I feel like the current status of how everything's going is why we need to embrace what you call them, housemates. But I like them in the form of marriage personally. And so like, because in reality,
ain't no way you got no housemate that's working. That don't make sense if you married.
Yeah, maybe for some. Maybe for some. Yeah, maybe for some. But
ain't no way we go. Let me stop trolling my dog.
Maybe for some. Maybe for some. But this is why this
wasn't better than me.
Ain't no way we building Black Wall Street with no women working. I know that.
No, I said that.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Let's not go down the rabbit hole. It's a joke. It's a joke.
No. Women gonna work, bro. Doing something.
Yeah, I mean, look
I
at
like this.
I
like this, Trey.
And we should embrace it, right? And like I said, like that's why we need
I don't mean to cut you really quickly. So that do mean that they can bring the mixed babies in there.
No, I said they're gonna work when they're here. That don't mean that
You
I'm in
said that
favor.
resources. If they now
Nah, bro,
contributing resources,
I'm
all
not
right.
in favor of if we build a black community,
Train track
a bunch of.
It
I
was
mean, you
my
know what I'm
bad.
saying? I don't want to. I ain't trying to offend nobody, but I did see a statistic talking about like 15 to 20% of the kids that born in our relationship aren't of black men. Is it black men's responsibility to take in? You know, like
You
I
steering
don't
away from
know,
what I
man.
asked. I'm just saying that if the women got to work, and your reason for black men being able to bring the mixed babies in the community, but not the black women, was resources,
No, it was that
then
resources and what else? Just, I mean, not to sound like condescending, but there was another major factor that's way more important than just resources.
protecting the community.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they
Don't
can
want
build
to
it with their money,
forget
but
that.
they can't bring their kids in there.
I mean, now if they can't protect it, now if I got to
Okay.
sacrifice my life, you know, I'm not sacrificing my life.
Would you so you would
For no
be
mulatto,
willing to
baby.
sacrifice your life for a black woman with mixed kids?
Bro, I'm just saying. Look, I don't think
Ain't
I'm.
no
I
way
think I'm
in
gonna have a
hell.
hard time rallying a bunch of men to go out there and protect like women who don't really want to rock with them. I don't think most men in other groups really do that. But you know, that's I'm not like not to sound
Okay.
offensive or anything, but I'm just saying like that's like it's gonna be difficult from a military perspective to rally people up for that. You know,
No, I got you. All right, so that was our quick little change, and I don't want to stay there too long. Johnny, you made like the great metaphor of like train track, and we was going off it. I'm gonna go back to G. My bad for interrupting. Continue, my brother.
No, all good, all good. Look, I think this is just a good example as to why marriage is arguably more important right now than maybe it's been in recent times, man. Because the way that things are trending, it's not really set up for you to thrive as an individual. It's just really not. That's not how the system's set up. Even from a tax perspective, you get way more benefits being married. And that's why I think like also too, like we don't talk about healthcare on or no childcare on this, but like this is why I say like having those familial units, like that's really what we need moving forward. Those family-esque communities to where the childcare is the auntie or the nanny or nana, whoever it is, like because like when I was growing up, I was getting dropped off, and I don't know who, like it was like a cousin who had a daycare or something that would watch kids in the basement, and that's where I was. Or somebody else over here, it was like, oh, you watch kids? Boom, nigga getting dropped off over here with some kids. Like,
Man, shout out to all the aunties and the moms that had either they had a home daycare,
yeah,
or they worked at a
Oh, yeah,
daycare where you can kind of make it happen. Like I
yeah,
know my mom had
This
her
is
own business for a little
ABC.
bit. Like she had the home daycare.
yeah. We
And
need those types
once
of
my son
things.
popped out, you ain't got the home daycare, but you got that home daycare.
Yeah,
Hey, but I got something on this. I'm looking at this
Yeah.
budget, and like
Okay.
it seems ideal, but like these are static numbers though, and like I'm looking at
Okay.
like two big ones that like I've personally seen my budget might not be this exact format, but like groceries and dining out and transportation, those have gone up recently. And like if you're on this budget, like when those prices go up, or because I mean I think the average car payment now is almost $500-600. That's not even including insurance, oil changes, anything like that. So I mean, like right, like average trend gas, all of that.
Oh, so that has to go up further than 625.
But
Okay.
I'm saying, but like, when like, where does that come from? Where's that extra money coming from?
Well, to me, I imagine when they said transportation, they're talking about car payment. Oh, damn, because insurance is not added into this either.
Right, and
But
then
car payment, insurance, unless they just paying
tolls, all
insurance
of
and
that.
the car is paid for, or maybe they're up north and they're just
nigga, you
riding
just gonna have to
bus,
get you're gonna have to get that hoopty, man. A to B, something that's gonna get you where you need to go.
You ain't driving a hoop to get $100,000 though.
Why not?
Who driving?
That's the black man's problem right
No,
there.
that ain't the black. They ain't just
They
the
ain't
black
black
man
men.
problem. They ain't just the black man problem.
Is
That's everybody's problem.
why can't we stay humble and stay with the Corolla even though we making $100K?
I'm just.
Oh no, you
The
can
black
get
man.
you can get the Corolla, but that
It's
Corolla
not a
is still
black
gonna
man
be
problem though.
it's still gonna be 500.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
come on,
You're
guys.
right.
That
Not
ain't a black
if
man
it's
problem.
not if
Stop the misogyny.
2015, 100,000 miles. You go
Johnny sell used cars. What
Oh,
that
yeah.
pay
find you a Toyota with 100,000.
450. Tell him, Johnny,
Them
450
rates,
for that.
just
Get
tax
that thing for
season,
under
baby.
5,000, man. What you talking about?
Tell him, Johnny,
It's tax season. Come holler at
450.
me.
Okay, but you said transportation. That needs to get bumped up some.
But dining out in groceries too. Like, I mean, if you go
Oh, you
out,
think
like,
that needs to get bumped up some?
I mean, it's like naturally the
Gotta eat more
don't eat
Stouffer's,
that-
bro. You gotta eat
Johnny,
more
you don't eat that
Stouffer's.
many
bro, no,
wings, bro.
listen to what I'm talking about. Like, your grocery bill has gone up no matter what. Like, so if that
For sure.
was your budget, it has gone up. Eggs cost more, so you was maxing out that budget. In order to keep the same thing, it's going to cost more. You're going to go over budget.
But see, that's why we gotta keep the same
I'm
thing.
about to say this is the recent one though, so I think that this is maybe adjusted to like current times. I don't know. I don't
No
know
more
when it was
eggs,
posted.
just toast.
No, I gotta get my eggs, man, in the morning, man. I need two.
Man, just go to Save. Like that's what we
with
doing now.
cheese on there.
No more
I
eggs,
have
just
been
toast.
I have
Eggs
been
went up too now.
a stark
Eggs
advocate
expensive as
for
fuck.
paying for EBT. Like I do the half.
Hey, now that's
But
what you can
my
do with the
EBT
budget.
lady, my EBT lady, they ain't been hitting like that lately.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
we had to go to Costco. You got to get it in bulk. Then. You just
nah,
gotta,
I
maneuver and
get
work
it.
your way around it.
But that's also dining out and going out, and that's like a lot of that stuff is going up too. And so just naturally, I'm just saying, like what naturally happens
Oh
to
yeah,
people
yeah.
is that money is going to
And I
come
think
out
that
of
that's
the
fair,
it's
actually.
going to come out of the savings and investments, and then over the long term, you're not saving as much, and then that's your generational wealth. That's your being able to buy a house. That's your really,
Yeah.
taking you from that middle class to upper class, or actually, getting obtaining wealth and assets. It's in these little small. It's the price of eggs. It's the price of car payments. All of that goes up, and you can't put in that other little basket, that savings, and that's what really robs us. And it's this
Mhm.
breaks it down almost how month by month it's still in our wealth.
Yeah.
And what if
So
Trump is able to successfully get rid of income tax and pay tariffs instead? I don't want to. That's probably whole different.
I mean,
topic.
it'll be beautiful if
But
that doesn't go
TV's
to
gonna be $2,500.
it doesn't help push to inflation. I guess I would say, in which the biggest thing was like you have to like handcuff people and tell them not to save. That'd be the only way that they can make sense, I guess you would say. But I guess let me ask y'all
tariffs
this.
are tricky too. You got to be careful with tariffs.
I have this question for y'all, and yeah, I'll branch it here, and then I'll ask more questions. Is this feasible? That's one, and then two, like you don't have to go like money wise, but like percentage wise. Does this reflect what you try to do, or is there is there a different way that you try and break down how you budget your monthly? You muted, G.
I could just kind of tell you what I try to do, because I don't like budgeting. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like it's just not something I enjoy.
You
like
can't be a finance major and not budget.
I budget, but I do it in a way that's more convenient for me, because I don't like sitting here like nickel and diming over where I'm spending every penny. You see what I'm saying? Like so the way I like to do it is make sure that shit is allocated for like savings, short-term, long-term, retirement before it even comes to the table. So I try to make sure that no matter how much I'm making, I'm putting away like at least like 40% of it before it comes into the household. So if 40% of what I make is going toward retirement, savings, or investments, then at that point, what I pay in rent and whatever I want to do, I really don't care. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, but to do that, I had to live under my means for like a good chunk of time, for like a solid 2-3 year period where I was like really underneath my means, and then was able to have some success and continue to make more. and then scaled from there. But like, even though I made more, I still stayed acting like I was making the same exact amount, if not less, even though I was getting raises. And so things started to kind of stack for me, and then I was able to do some other stuff. But that's how I kind of do it for me, is that I'll put at least like 30 to 40% away so that I have safety nets, and then I'll budget based off of what's remaining from there. And so what's remaining from there, I really don't care how it's spent, because my big concerns, I feel like, are taken care of.
Got you. And that 40, like when you say 40% of income before it comes in, do you think that that's a feasible savings for most people?
If
or are you an advocate for kind of like your situation where it makes more sense?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you single, get a roommate. You know what I'm saying? Like, humble yourself and do what you need to do financially for a period of time until you're ready to really like stay above water. You feel what I'm saying? So like, that's why I feel like it's gonna be sacrificial. It might require living somewhere you don't really want to stay, living in a situation that's not like the best thing you want to deal with, but like, you got to be able to lock in beneath your means for a chunk of time to really like set yourself up long term, in my opinion.
Yeah,
gotta make the sacrifice.
No, I got a very similar thing, because like my savings come out like immediately. It's like a lot of it come out like non-tax, and so like I even like save, but so like that portion of my budgeting is kind of automatic. A lot of my healthcare, like you say, that's a lot of that's automatic. And so like gee, I'm just like it's housing, groceries, really transportation, and I'm really just kind of figuring out most of that, but everything else is automatic. And really the transportation, besides for like the gas and stuff, that's automatic too. So a lot of times, just that's probably not the best budgeting as far as budgeting, because they, especially with Apple and shit, they be all in my they be all in my account. It's all automated. They be double. I think they double charge me and shit. But automation helps make it simpler though, and that's one technology that we have now that's very easy. But you got to watch it though, because if you just strictly automate it, you might get got.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Like
I can't disagree with any of that y'all said. Oh yeah, go ahead, but
oh no, my bad.
my
No, I
fault.
was saying like,
My
so
fault. You go ahead, but
when I saw the graphic, I feel like, I mean, everybody's expenses are different, so you're gonna budget differently. My thinking was kind of like what G was saying. Like, I kind of hated budgeting. I'm like, nah, I spend it, I get it back or whatever. And I just kind of kept finding myself like every month in the same spot, and I'm like, well, damn, like, where's all my money going? So I really had to like sit down one day, do the whole spreadsheet, and literally put every expense. And I realized it's all the little things that kind of we don't really count that add up. And those little subscriptions, those little $2.99 from Apples, the $16.99, the
All your
Hulu.
OnlyFans accounts.
I ain't got that, but stuff like that. So I started
really all your streaming services, for real though.
Yeah, for real. Like
if you got Netflix and Hulu
Disney,
and
you got
one of the
Disney
others.
Yeah, I got
Oh, yeah.
Canva. Can I design? Runway. I do
Canva.
all that stuff. I got Dropbox. So
You said what's Runway?
Runway is like an AI. It's an AI subscription to like video to video, image to image, and
Let me look that up.
doing AI. But kind of visualizing it, I realized I had an illusion for real of how much I had to spend every month, because I wasn't really accounting for all the little things that was hitting my account. So kind of seeing that budget, seeing like, all right, how much am I really spending on everything? How much I got left? And then it's like, oh shit, like it's not as much as I thought it was. So let me kind of rearrange some things, cancel some shit. I'm and it's small. It looks small, but it adds up. And I started canceling shit I don't really use, canceling subscription. I think I now just only got Prime, and I got Apple TV. Cancel Netflix, cancel shit, because like I don't really watch it. I have a series and I like it, I watch it, and I don't go on there for months. But all of that shit, you really start to save. So it might be 200, 300, 400 you save a month. And now that's new savings I could add, but really kind of writing your shit down, every little thing, car insurance, all those bills, and visualizing and seeing like, all right, this is how much I'm really paying a month, and this is how much I really got left. You can start creating a legit saving plan because you kind of find yourself in the same hole. But $100,000, you know, unless you have like multiple children and maybe you don't have a wife or a girl that's helping, that's still plenty. Like it's not the same it was 5 years ago. Like I remember 5 years ago, the salary I make now is like, damn, if I just make this, I'll be good in life. Now I'm here and I'm like, shit, I'm still not fucking good. But but it's like what you spending on your expenses, you can get a car and get you a used joint, pay that off, and then maybe once you clear some bills, get something nice. But depending on the field you in, your car might matter. Perception is a big deal. Like I saw the difference when I had a Honda Civic pulling up to clients and pulling up with a BMW. Like, it gets you more business, because people start to feel like, okay, he might know what he's doing, so you got to take that into account depending on what field you in. But if you drive into an office building or a warehouse or something, your car don't matter, then yeah, stick a Corolla or whatever. But like if you are building a client list and you work for yourself, you might have to put on a little bit because that perception,
aesthetics matter.
It makes people trust you more. So you gotta know what to spend your money on and know the cuts expenses. Maybe take a month off from shit. Might have to be a year or two, but maybe a month. Like I'm not gonna eat out. I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do something that's external expense. My biggest thing was DoorDash, and
oh yeah, DoorDash a killer.
I looked
DoorDash a killer.
Yeah, my dog Keith used to kill that.
I looked at like my account. I spent like $500 a month on DoorDash, and I'm like, shit, like that's a fucking flight. And that was literally when I took my first flight to Africa. Was like when I stopped eating DoorDash, and I not like, if I say this for 2 months, I don't eat out, I can go here, and that's what I did. But like, cause ordering shit $24 for 1
you was living good. You was doing all right.
It is different when you don't have kids. That's true.
Hey, that end of the year DoorDash recap be sick, bro.
Nigga, that changed my life. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, I didn't see it. For me, I'm like I'm a saver, so like I'm gonna just take my ass and drive to the little spot. My wife, she be trying to do it like half the time, like just order it on the app and I just go pick it up.
I'm the DoorDash.
I get it. But yeah, all right. This is a quick tangent question. You said Runway app. So Runway app, I'm looking it up right now. So this is like an AI thing that does video. Is that what you saying?
Yeah, video, images, like all the shit y'all be seeing. When you're like, damn, like it's Runway, and that's just one of the popular ones. They got like so many different ones. That's kind of just the one I got.
And if you don't mind, I'm curious at the moment. But what do you use that to do?
So right now, really, I'm just kind of, I want to say, still in the learning and playing around stage. Just like as a creative, you just kind of play around with shit till something clicks, and then it's like, okay, now I know I can make some art with this, because that's kind of really my goal. Like I always like see I can make some art with it, but I also use it at my job where.
And that's what I was thinking.
I do their social media, I do their web content, so I'm like looking for more creative ways. Like I think John C. Smith, they played the first HBCU football game. So usually every year we post the same picture of like old dudes from the first team, black and white.
And how can I bring this to life?
This year I brought it to life. They wave and the shit looked like hella real. Some people loved it, some people was freaked out, whatever. But like I just like use it to kind of make more creative content. And then, that's the thing with any AI from ChatGPT to Runway. It's only goes as far as your creativity, as your descriptiveness with prompts and stuff. But the more you use it, like it's like a video game, you kind of get more creative with it, and stuff. So that was just one. People are making whole short films and movies, and it's getting to the point where shit, you might not even need actors no more. Niggas is making real movies with this shit now, and with AI actors and creating scripts and short films. They got a whole if you on the site, they have like a a display where you can kind of look at the shit that people are creating and kind of get ideas of like, oh,
Yeah.
like, and it's the next level shit. But for me, it's like I had to implement it in my job because they sent me to Afrotech and they paid for me to like. So they like, you know, well, what are we paying for? I'm about to learn some AI to do. So that was like one of the things I implemented in the office was ChatGPT and Runway, and then Canva. Canva has implemented AI, and Meta has a tool too as well. So, you know, kind
Oh
of
yeah,
keep.
now for sure. Listen, y'all be seeing AI people on these flyers. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shout out to Canva. But let me ask y'all this. And appreciate it. Again, I'm inside the design field as well, so I'm always trying to stay a little abreast. But so again, we did look at this breakdown right here, and we did talk about what is feasible when it comes down to rent. So I guess I'll start by asking y'all, how many people you think is spending over 1,800, but not inside the 100K range? Again, we're looking at the allocation for rent for if you're making 100K after taxes. I'm gonna toss it out there, and we'll kind of start building from there.
Combined household income.
I think a lot of people are.
I think it's probably 15 to 20% of people that are paying that much in rent. Like, are you talking about single people or household, like Trey said?
Yeah.
That's a great question. People or households that are making under 100K.
I think more households probably do it than single people. I think if it's a household and it's not making a combined just because of family, kids, space, there's probably a lot more households that fit that criteria than single people.
So you don't think that there's a bunch of single people? Let's just say Charlotte. Y'all put.
Well, they said
for example, you what you gave me was that, like, what was it?
14 to 20.
Yeah, 14 to 20.
I think you said the average one bedroom rent in Charlotte was $1,300 though.
Yeah, it was $1,300.
So,
but
just based on that, I think, and then I know probably not a lot of people making over 100. I think the people that are making just
so of the friend group that you have. No, I understand. Like, and again, we're getting into anecdotes, of course, but do you think that, or again, all right, my bad. I asked the question of percentages. So you gave like 15 to 20. And I guess that's like a fair understanding of what you believe. Trey, what's your thoughts?
As far as how many people are paying that rent that don't make 100K?
Yeah. Like about, like, let's say 17 to 1,800. How many people are paying for that? Again, one bedroom that's between 17 and 1,800 in 2025.
Don't make 100K.
Man, I think a lot of people there's a lot of younger people that live around me, and I would bet that a lot of them have parents helping them out with their rent. So I think if they're in that position, that's because their parents are helping them.
So what about, I guess, do you think that regular people, like most people, aren't making 100K? And do you think that the people around you in general are all like Nepo babies? Or are you saying that you think most people around you are making way over 100K? Or are they paying this amount and still sufficing by sacrificing other?
I think they're either making that amount of money or they're getting help from their parents. I don't think they're
okay.
Really,
so generally speaking, you don't think that most people under 100K are paying 1,700 to 1,800 a month?
Not without help, but I would also say, don't they make sure how much money do you have to be making over the rent before they even allow you to?
Is it a third?
I think it's 30%.
Yeah, about to say about a third.
So you got to be making 30%. So I'm not sure. I'd have to do the math for 18 times 12, and then
it's be close to 100K.
18 times.
But if you move into one of these new developments,
54. Nah, you don't have to. Well, let me do that. Times. Yeah, it wouldn't be. It's about $1,000 off from 100K after taxes.
Okay,
So
$1,000 per.
I think it'll be closer to like 75 to 80K.
So I think that, yeah, so that would be the minimum that we would even be talking about then, right?
Maybe.
So everyone's at least
I don't
making
know.
that much money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be approved to live here. So they're either at or around 100K, I would say. I don't think they're like at 50K paying 18. They might be at, like maybe 15% less than off of that figure. And then
So,
that would be what they're
but
paying.
I guess like I haven't been renting for like for a while, so I can't say. But I also imagine that if rent has went up, but income hasn't went up, the margin has to be different a little bit, right?
But
Because
that percentage is still.
if like the average is 1,300 in general, but the average person isn't making close to like what that percentage breakdown ends up being for to make 1,300 at 1/3% for 1 bedroom.
So you think they've adjusted that requirement, or?
I don't know. Like y'all are inside the market a little bit more. So, but I would it to me it seems like it would have to if most people are paying between 13 and 15. I know
I think
like
what
around
happens.
2019. Oh, go ahead.
I think what happens is the requirements are somewhat adjusted because there's so many new developments and new things popping up to kind of get that first wave of people. They'll excuse a lot of, get you in, and then they start
Especially
raising
in Charlotte,
rent
yeah.
and raising prices and putting these rules in or whatnot. But I also know a lot of people that are paying half of their monthly salary on rent alone, just to say they got a nice apartment or something like that. So that's a lot of that going on. It's like they spending the majority of their pay on rent, like half, not even a third. Like, and that's crazy to me. But a lot of people are doing that just.
And that's what it seemed like. I guess that's what I was trying, begging the question of. But
that's what I'm getting at, though. Before that's what I'm getting at, though. If people are paying the majority of their salary on rent, then how are they getting into that situation in the first place? If there's a requirement for income,
they might have a cosign. They might have a cosign.
Oh yeah, well,
there you go.
Like, yeah, a cosign will be one. But then we're also speaking about renting at specific establishments, like say, like it again, like a new build townhomes or new build apartment complex thing that they're always doing in Charlotte. But that doesn't speak to a bunch of renters that are renting from the owner themselves, and where the check is going to be something different, like what they're checking for, and they're going to excuse a bunch. Like if you're renting a condo, like whatever your requirements, you make those yourself. If you're renting a house, whatever your requirements, you make those yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely different renting from an owner. Like I say, I've if I didn't have a private owner, I would probably been messed up a few years and stuff. But I've had somebody who adjust my rent date based on my pay date, and give
somebody
me
you had a real rapport with.
Yeah, but you can't do that if you at a complex or somewhere. Like you late and you go past 30 days, like you getting evicted. Because they got a high turnover rate. Once it gets popular, it's good. But when it's new in development, they got all type of deals. First 3 months free, bad credit accepted, la la la. Just to kind of start filling it up and getting the cash flow going, and then eventually they start phasing them people out. So that's how people kind of get in there. It's so many new places, and you got to fill it up. So they just kind of will be more. What's the word? They're more lenient in the beginning. And then after that first year and it's trying to renew your lease, shit hit the fan.
Go ahead, G.
I don't say. I think if we limit the idea of people making less than 100 paying for a 1-bedroom, then it's a small percentage. But if we kind of reframe it to say
2-bedroom, like a person with kids or some shit like that,
like just households, black households in general making under 100,000 are paying 18 plus. I think that's a higher number, because then when you start talking like where if you were 2-parent, 2 kids, I could easily see that family
Yeah.
paying close to $2,000 for a place to stay, if not more.
That's why I asked, were we talking single or household? Because I definitely think it's higher.
And it's like, you could be like, have like, working class jobs. It's possible to have 2 working class jobs and the household income don't go over
oh yeah, no, it's
100K. That's not just possible in the Black community.
I think it's almost, it's not quite
norm.
average, but I
Not
think
just
that
the Black community.
it's a large percentage.
Yeah. Well,
It's not
we
just the
got
Black
there was
community.
another graphic that broke down household income by ethnicity, and some households do pull, say, 100 or close to 100 on average, whereas like on for us, whether it's median or average, when it comes to the ethnic breakdown, we be struggling.
Yeah, I can read it off to you.
Bro, isn't it?
And I could just share the screen. Y'all can see that. Hold on.
We're not the worst now.
There we go.
But Q, I sent one in the chat too, where it's that it's got the tweet that Boyce Watkins posted with the graphic. It might be that same graphic right there.
We are the worst.
Okay.
Bro.
All right, then let me just, I'm gonna click this.
Yeah, we the worst right here. Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey,
Okay.
but hold up, Hispanics, his household income, how many people in the house? I mean, just a fair question, bro. We have different lifestyles.
You say Jose Jesus.
So nonetheless, I'm gonna just read off some of what this is saying. It says that median household by ethnicity, Asian is 112K. White, not Hispanic, is 89K. Hispanic is 65K. American Indian 57, and Black 56. Let me try and go to Instagram. I want to make sure I go to the Boyce Watkins shit too.
Oh shit!
Just to make sure that this was the realest of real things.
Oh, another household income is because we're the most single, probably too.
But the average individual income, because like there's individual income and then household income. Individual income for Black people is like 51 or 52.
Okay, so if individuals there in the household, damn, that really must mean everybody's single versus these other places where not only are they not single, they're also 10 deep in the house. So it's tough to really
That's not what
compete
that
with.
means at all.
All right.
Which
I could
one
see,
of
I
these
could
am
see
I
how
trying
he
to go
got
to?
there. I could see how he got there though, because if individual is 51, then why
Like,
wouldn't the household?
Asians aren't known to be 10 deep in the household.
I'm talking about Black.
You automatically.
I'm just talking about
No,
Black.
all right, so like if I go through
You
everybody that's
automatically
not
jump to the
Hispanics,
most obviously one that's not, bro. Like,
no, but I'm saying like
did that
everybody that's not
intentionally.
Hispanics. Let's go with everybody that's not Hispanics.
But no,
Okay, Nigerians and people like that,
They're living 10 to a household in America.
maybe not 10 to a house, but not like what we do when you turn 18, you're supposed to get out.
Like they have one of the higher individual household earnings.
But at the same time, in our community, when you turn 18, you got to get out for the most part. Versus these other communities, they don't have that.
Like if you're talking
that's
about,
all I'm saying, bro.
No, but either
that's
way,
all
if
I'm
you're talking
saying.
about, sure, if that's all you're saying,
okay, then like you don't got to make it something different. Don't push the goalpost.
No, if you're saying individual, I'm just saying that Black people living on their own is its own thing, and I understand that. Also, the group individual earning for any other ethnic group, like if it's still higher, it's still speaking about individuals. It has nothing to do with like 10 people or 2 people living in the household.
The household
whether ours is
definitely
skewed lower because of like its own, specific thing.
Bro, household income definitely has to do with how many people are in the house.
No, household. I just said individual.
But okay,
so like if you're saying like Nigerians are benefiting for like higher household,
Q, can I ask?
We only talking about household.
Can I ask a clarifying question? I got a question, Q. Because I think we got kind of filter if like Black individual income is 51%, and then household income is only 56. Wouldn't the household income be closer to 100?
I think we got to be looking at median versus average too.
Well, I guess that's and
Yeah,
we
that's
can
what I'm
look up
talking
both
about.
of those things. But to me, and that's where like it's important to make sure that we are talking about the exact same thing. But I would also imagine that one, in the Black community, for example, like we don't have a high level of two-parent households. Or let me not frame it that way. Like we have a high level of like single parent homes. Not the fact that
What,
we
you mean
don't
like the
have a high
father's
level
not
of
living
parent.
there or not married, bro? Because you're talking about the
Like
father's
when we,
not present.
all
Like
right,
a
so
lot of us live
one
together, but they're
family
not
home. So
married. Single
right
parent
now we're
doesn't
not talking
mean.
about fathers being in the kid's house, not house, but
But
in the kid's
so
life.
we're talking
When
about
you say the
household
word
income, so
household,
you can still be a single parent and cohabitate, and then that's still household income that's put together. So
like
I'm just saying, like conflating
the average single parent's not cohabitating with their baby daddy or baby mama.
So what's a single parent exactly then?
That's not a single parent if you're cohabitating, bro.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
that
just
wouldn't be
one
single.
individual.
That's not that by definition means you're not a single parent. It's a two-parent household.
So you're saying the Black community is where the father's not in the home. We have a lot of like, because a lot of times people conflate.
But we have a high
with
rate
single.
of like single parents. Do you disagree with that?
I think we have a higher rate of
Like this
people who
isn't
are
saying
living
like
together.
inactive fathers or anything like that. I'm just talking about if we're talking statistics and what they qualify as a single parent home.
You know, the gynocracy and everything.
The only thing I'm trying to clarify is that the only thing I'm
When
trying
that
to
nigga stick to a point, he's stuck. It's over. Go ahead.
Because I'm not trying to push the goalpost, bro. Because like I say one argument, and you say other things that I don't see how they're related. But all I'm saying is,
Like which part wasn't
often
related? Go ahead.
a lot of times we see the statistic where they talk about Black people have a lot of single parents, but then they don't take into consideration that stat is not the same as like the mother not being married, because if they're like if you're either married or you're single. So what do you mean single parent household is what I want to accommodate? If you're talking about the father just completely like abandoned them, or
Never use those
okay,
words
so
at
he's
all.
in.
So
So you're
that's
not
the
including
further,
people that are in the
like,
same house.
that's the
We
furthest
just don't
extreme. You
agree
went
with
with
the
like a
stats.
reasonable
Parents that don't live together. It's simple. If your parents don't live together, whoever that child stays with is a single parent.
Is that what the study is based on? Or is the study
simple.
based on being married?
All right,
And
I'm gonna just look up.
And I
Do
think
y'all
that's
want to
what
go
Trey- I think
median
that's what
or
Trey
average?
And if you get that nigga on the weekends, it don't matter. It's still a single parent. It's like
I think Trey's arguing the stats and like how they were collected, the validity of them versus the I think I gotta get what Trey's saying, as far as like the collection of these stats and how they're presented and what's being said versus what's actually the actual reality of the situation. I feel what you're saying, Trey.
So what's
Appreciate
not
it. I get
so
both. I get what y'all trying to say, but I think John kind of explained what I was trying to say more likely. Like this statistic, when you talk about people like we have a lot make statements like we have a lot of single parent households. It's like I want to clarify that
do
because
you
that's the statement
agree
that
or
gets
disagree with
overused.
that? I'm just trying to understand. Like when you drag on gynocracy, you typically will also include the fact that there's a bunch of single parent households that are like led by women. Are we no longer saying that?
We do have that, but do they not have a dude in the house that's not the father? What is that? Does that count as a single parent?
You think? But
it does.
Yes.
So then is that household?
Like,
now we're talking
single
about
parent
household.
is like one income household.
So if you're a parent and you're not with the father, and then
you said
we
what?
have a lot of that.
I said I've been in the house with a lot of single moms, and I ain't helping them pay for shit.
Bro said, I'm not a part of this household.
I wait till the kids to sleep.
Yeah, you be like, man, put that nigga to bed before I come over, man. What y'all got left over?
Turn that Tom and Jerry on, and
so it's definitely different. They got niggas in the house, but they don't got no father now.
Nobody contributing. Like the income to the household is still the same.
That man might be tricking something though. That's contributing to the income of the household.
The data says nearly half of Black children live in a single parent household. That's what's being reported.
Mean? But what does that mean? Is there not a man in the house, or is the mama single? Like that's such a vague thing to say. Is what I'm trying to clarify. Because we're talking about household income.
Single parents not just doesn't mean live with the mom. It could be the father as well. you're making single parent mean that they stay with the mom. Single parent could also be that the father's the primary caregiver.
So you're saying
that-
the
is
woman
that
living by
is that
herself with no support from any man is what you're saying. Like no man's contributing to her life. Because
are you
otherwise,
thinking that like women don't be having like you can
they be getting
attest
support,
to like
bro.
multiple. Well, I guess this might be a different version of a chat, but there's a bunch of people that you'll know, I know, that had a mom that held down the house for years.
But the financially,
It's not like a
that's kind of
rare
crazy
thing
too.
at all.
Is it dual income if you're getting broke off with child support?
Oh, actually, here you go. Actually, the way that this thing breaks down, it says percent of children living with their mother in blacks is trending consistently around 50%, whereas Hispanics are around 25%, and whites are around like high teens, close to 20%. So even if there's questions about how it's measured the same across the different races as a constant for comparison purposes. It's not like they're saying single means one thing with black versus with Hispanic versus white. So just comparatively speaking, there is something going on with black households that for whatever reason, close to half are seemingly the kids are growing up with just their mom in the household.
Just their mom. So living with a kid's mother doesn't mean that the mother can't have another man that is living in the house too. That's not.
But like A Black said, that doesn't mean that other man is going to be a parental figure. There's no guarantee. There's no promises that a step parent
or even a lot of most of the single moms that I know, they don't have men that's living in the household.
And even if they don't even let
like they might be
their
dating
kids,
men,
like,
and like a man could come in and like sometimes they'll meet the kid for like 6 months.
We'll be there from 10 p.m.
That nigga TK Kirkland said being a stepdad was a mental illness. He was like, what man? He was like, what man wants to take care of another nigga's kids? Like,
my
bad. Are you saying that most single women have men that are contributing to their bills?
Man, yeah.
All right.
No, that's because he contributes to their bills.
Yeah,
so
that's the only way
he's projected. Because Trey probably spit a couple of dollars. He said, "How much is that bill?" And he'll send it on through Venmo, Cash App, charge it to the game.
That was true.
Especially in Atlanta.
Like counter to every single manosphere point, every red pill point. Like,
no, it's not. How is it? There's lots of simps, especially like I've heard them talk about, especially in like Atlanta. A lot of these women that are doing really well, they're doing well because they got some dude tricking off on them, or they got a divorce settlement and got a house or something like that. That happens all the time.
But if the majority of single women have men contributing to the household, why would the narrative be that like if you have a kid that you're used goods and it's bad and like nobody's gonna want you? That's the whole Kevin Samuels thing. Like you have a kid, you're over a certain age, nobody wants you. How does those two things go together?
I don't think many people adopt Kevin Samuels' message. If they did, then we wouldn't need him, and the world would be a better place.
I just said the red pill, the entire manosphere, all is
built. But everybody don't live off of that, bro.
That a single woman with kids is useless.
And there's a lot more.
Like it's built.
I think you're adding a bunch of extras. You're adding a bunch of extras to it, bro. But I would just say,
all right, everybody, not Trey. Is that not kind of the messaging? Is that if you're a single woman with kids over 30, you're useless and like your value is low?
Your value is low. I'll not say useless. I'll not say useless.
My bad. If
useless is harsh.
That's cool.
Useless is harsh.
Value is low. Like you're gonna have a hard time finding a man, and like you should lower your expectations.
And your value is declining every day.
That's like a hard time finding a high value man. You know, your value decreases in the eyes of a high value man. That's the whole rhetoric. They can get them in.
I want to unpack why you told that. I want to unpack why you told that untruth at some point.
Which untruth?
You just
My bad.
Completely You just completely mischaracterized what they said. A Black said it made more sense. G said said it made more sense. Yes, they lost value, but you just said they said that they were useless.
Okay, all right, Trey.
That's
if
kind
you
of
want
a
to
messed up
unpack
way
me,
to.
so if you want to unpack me
Like, why
saying
would
the
you
word
say that? Like, why you?
I got you right.
Hard?
Like, if you want me to walk back the word useless, sure. I don't know if he used the word useless. What I was saying inside the idea, you say that FBA like the joke, and like sometimes you can speak a little bit in hyperbole. I wasn't being exact in saying useless as much as talking about losing value. That's why I said useless, losing value. That part was the joke, but in general, what I'm talking about is the manosphere is built off the idea that women of a certain age, women that have a certain body count, women that have kids lose value and have diminishing value. The older they get, the more kids in general, and the more men that they sleep with. That is,
and if she has
maybe the words you're looking for is worthless.
And if she has a mixed baby, she's worthless.
Bro.
That's the ones that are worthless.
That's the ones that Trey going to agree with that one.
Yeah, they are worthless.
They can't come to Black Wall Street, but
that was a joke.
The ones with mixed babies.
I see why people hitting the mute button, bro. Y'all just did a rapid fire with a bunch of stuff that I don't agree with. I don't even know where, but just the main.
I don't agree. I don't think.
All right. So what was it that I what? So right now,
red pill.
Maybe you could tell me: Are you talking to single moms over 30?
Cute. Am I talking to single moms over 30? No.
Nigga, you make it's almost your whole platform.
No.
Hey, single moms under 30. Cute. Hey, but what about single moms under 30?
Maybe that's what it is.
20s?
All right, what if she a 24-year-old single mom?
Y'all asked me a question, asking me other questions. No. The answer to all this is no. But that doesn't.
All right, nigga. Like you don't even disagree with it.
You're running away from the initial thing and then trying to like rapid fire.
Listen, I already said that useless. If you're mad that I use the word useless,
you're still stacking,
I can walk back useless and say losing value.
Bro,
like if that's where you're gonna stick at, I don't care to use the word useless. I was just talking. But what I meant was losing value. It has lower value in general.
Bro, you keep throwing a bunch of other stuff at me and then defending against the main. Like I'm trying to get to the quarterback, and you got different linemen, a different.
All right, what did
stuff
I just say?
Has nothing to do with the original point. Okay,
go ahead.
Finally, all right. So if the red pill community believes all this, that doesn't mean that the majority of the male community moves like them. There's way more. For every red pillar, you could probably have 10 simps. So just because you have that mentality taken off doesn't mean that they're not finding somebody to trick off on them.
Listen, I didn't know that single baby
red pill niggas be tricking.
That's they do. But,
and they trick too. So not only are there 10 times more simps after red pills are cash.
But understand what I'm saying is that all that means is that everything that the red pill in the manosphere, I don't know if you associate, sometimes they use those talking points. Like it all doesn't make sense if, according to what you're saying, single women with kids in general are getting men to trick off, simp for them, and help pay their bills. Like it sounds like that's a beneficial space to be at if you're like an over 30 woman with kids.
You think that's a good place to be in?
Like it's not hurtful, according to you. Like if you're getting men to trick off, simp on you, and you get to do the wrong thing of like, you know what I mean, just have kids and break up with niggas and probably get child. Like there's no negative to that. Like from my understanding, that their worldview was built off of the fact that if you are those things, men don't specifically want you. And you're losing value consistently. That is what the Kevin Samuel ilk has been. That is what the red pill ilk.
And that's why black folks ain't got no middle class.
It's because we aren't being stepdads, G? Is that what you're saying?
No, you're saying that we're being stepdads, even like without getting married. Like we're just spending the money on them.
Yeah, we do have a lot of it. Yeah, we do have a lot. Both things are true. We do have a lot of people being stepdads, yeah. But I'm asking Q. That's what the community needs, is we need more men to be stepdads.
No, I don't believe that men are.
Oh, my fault. I said
single woman.
I mean,
I don't believe that.
My fault. I meant to say
single baby mamas. Yeah.
Stepdads?
We need more stepdads in the community, G?
No, man. No, we need more fathers to step up.
So, Trey,
that was fly, right? Yeah, that was fly, right?
Trey, how do we have like single, like kids of single parent moms complaining even when they get older about like the struggle of their household? But then, like, generally, when you go into like all these dilapidated spaces, it is littered with these things. Yet these women are getting men to break them off and pay for all their shit or trick on them, simp on them.
I don't know. It's sad, man. A lot of them are really down bad, bro. I mean, no, I'm not trying to say this like in a condescending way. Both.
Tricking ain't fatherhood, though.
Like, I'm not trying to like throw something, but that's like a down bad situation to be in, bro. We need to do something to.
I just didn't know it was an epidemic of niggas tricking on women with kids.
That's news to me, brother. News to me.
Bro, I see way too many women with kids complaining every day to believe that. Like,
there's way too many broke niggas.
If anything,
it'd be the women, it'd be the women with
kids.
On them Amazon boxes. That'd be the crazy thing.
It'd be the women with kids tricking on the niggas trying to catch them one. Like using all they kids' snacks, knowing damn well they gotta go to the grocery store and re-up. They let the nigga eat all the snacks in the evening.
And Beyonce been wanting that automobile paid. And
the child support money too. They be tricking the child support money off on the side, dude. Damn.
Oh, I don't know. I know that like even me with the kids since I was 21, one of the prerequisites that I had that I wasn't dating no woman with kids.
I feel you, but
like I don't really know a lot of niggas that was trying to date women with kids, and especially until they got like to a certain age, then it'd be like, well, I'll start thinking about it. But
I do think, but what do you think that age is the question? I feel like
it's past 30 for sure.
I was gonna say at least 35. If you 35 and up, and you out here looking for women with no kids, I think you gotta reevaluate what you really looking for.
She probably crazy if she ain't got no kids.
It started.
That's what I think.
So you talking about that's if you want a girl your age.
What's all the women that be on CNN and MSNBC? I feel like they got to be one of them, like the radical feminists.
I girl 26 ain't got no kids.
You said what?
Yeah, my girl 27 ain't no kids. I ain't dealing with no kids.
Oh yeah, that's under 30.
Yeah, okay,
that's 30.
Under 30.
Under 30. If she 36, 37 plus, I think she one of them radical feminists that be on CNN or MSNBC probably. She probably freeze them eggs. I wouldn't trust a woman that freeze the eggs.
But that's why a lot of
women that freeze the eggs. I'm gonna leave that.
That's a wild take. That's a wild take. That's definitely a wild take. That's definitely a wild take.
She freeze the egg. Nah, that motherfucker trouble.
Oh man.
Same way, listen, I got a couple trade rules. Like, ain't no hyphenations was ever gonna happen over here. That's one of my traditional rules for sure.
Man, I'm saying I still think it's a lot more. I think people are finally getting the message, but there's a lot of like sexual scavengers out here. Don't turn down what they call it, like Jason Black like to say. So it's like,
but they tricking or they just popping?
I don't know. I don't really know what goes on.
What's the difference? like
tricking and just popping? There is a huge difference.
Because I mean, like, you gotta trick a little. I mean, to pop something, like, I mean, you gotta take a chick out. I mean, at what point do it become tricking?
Because there is.
I guess I disagree, but
you disagree with what?
Can you just invite them over? Be like, come over to the.
Yeah, you gotta do something. You
be like, yo. Yeah, just come over.
I guess this be the best way I could frame it. Like, I've never searched out like women with kids. Have I like quote unquote talked to women with kids? Like, yeah, there's been a couple. Has there ever been anything serious? No. Have they, like, when we use the word pop? Yes. It didn't come with like any, like, yeah, those weren't people that I put my energy into.
I was
So if I
talking
met
more
you,
in general.
if I met you outside and
but
we
I
was
see what you're
outside, we did outside things. This wasn't something that I was like doing first and second and third dates.
You weren't trying to take it from outside to inside.
There you go.
I get what you're saying.
Me
But
personally,
then but y'all were
I could
talking.
be off.
But also y'all were talking about if you're a certain age, then you should just mess with a girl that has kids or have to accept that. That's only if you're really trying to deal with girls that are your
Well,
age.
first,
And I think a lot of dudes who have like means don't like want Ebony K. Williams. Like she's not really that shit.
Would you ever
her.
date a woman that's your age? I don't know how we got here. We're gonna get back on
My
track
age?
soon, audience. Yeah, like your age. Would you ever date a woman your age?
Probably not. No. I'm too old for that.
Hey, I feel him.
Oh my gosh, this nigga is hilarious.
Like if I already had kids and that wasn't a priority, and I would, but the fact I want to start a family. And
Hey, Black,
you breaking up.
You breaking all the way up. We can't
like
hear you.
Technology, my guy.
Yeah.
Nah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you. But
Yeah. I was saying that when it comes to starting a family with a woman, yeah, my age ain't gonna work. Like, she had to be like super amazing, but like, nah, I'm thinking about childbearing years and stuff. So yeah, nah.
What if she froze them eggs?
Nah.
You don't trust them either. I told you that's not a hot take, G.
If I already had kids, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But because I don't, and that's what I want, I already know dating women my age and even older than me, like, it's just like, yeah, nah. I'd rather like something in that 27, 32 range. You know, that's kind of like the range I'm in.
Yeah, I ain't mad at 32.
Yeah.
Johnny, you said you wouldn't date women your age either, huh?
Nah, I ain't trying to go like I'm in that like he say about 27 to 32. That's the perfect like woman age, I think.
Forever.
Yeah, women our age probably gonna have to.
It's gonna be the same age 10 years later. Like, yeah, I don't know. 27 to 32. I just stay there forever.
I ain't making rules. I mean,
straight up.
Hey,
at our
they
age,
come
you
at
need
me.
to be.
I don't come for them.
I ain't making rules.
Yeah.
At our age, you need to be messing with one of those some old nigga names.
Emmanuel.
Listen, I get it.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Percy.
My preference is definitely different than what I ended up with. Where
right.
Yeah, my preference
Cletus
would be
tricking on him,
my
bro.
age, but yeah, my wife is like 4 years younger than me, like 4 or 5. Yeah, between 4 and 5 years, depending on like the time of year. So it was close enough to me. Go ahead.
But that made me think, bro. I think they do have a lot of old heads tricking off these younger women, bro. Like, you're not really considering them. Like, once they hit like 60, 65, then they strive financially. Yeah, like when he coming through, he's dropping some paper at that age. He probably got a pension. He retired.
I think that you overqualify how many women are of like tricking status.
It's not even tricking.
Like if you throw out 10 women, if you throw out 10 women, I think 2 of them could get tricked on. 3 of them be like probably 7, maybe 8. You look at them and be like, you gonna have to work.
She gonna work, but like, what if Charlie needs some help with getting a new roof? You don't think Cletus might help with that?
Not if she's one of them
Hell
two.
No.
If she's one of those two.
Nah.
Hell no. That no roof, nigga.
Yeah.
He might go get that oil. That nigga might get that oil change. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some light work. He might take that bitch down to the car wash for get a detail. That's it, bro. He ain't doing all that shit.
Middle class.
He gonna do the old man shit. You know what I'm saying? He gonna make sure that the fluids is right in the car, tires rotated. He gonna do shit like that.
What about the ballers? Like people that work corporate, like banking and everything like that. If they see somebody If they old and they've been in it for a while, they got money to blow, and they see a shorty
Yeah,
that
old
like
niggas with money to blow trick. They trick like a
and,
motherfucker.
Well,
and
listen,
they got
listen,
good
if you
They
an
got
old
great
nigga with
taste too, Trey.
yeah, if you
they
an old
got
nigga
great
with money
taste.
to
They
blow,
5 and up probably.
if you an old nigga with money
Nah,
to
them old
blow, you
rich
gonna
dudes got
pick the
great
chick
taste.
that need her roof fixed or the
Life,
young fly
life,
chick.
life.
Like you got more choices when you the old nigga with money to blow, but
That's
every
also
woman,
a fact.
every
You
woman done got
fixing roof,
the same
you
power
fixing
to demand.
dimes.
Right, and
I
that's
don't
that's
think
what
they're
I was
not
saying.
just
There,
messing
Black.
with
Yeah, the
dimes,
market,
bro.
the market
If they fix the
dynamics.
roof, Trey, if
Like
they fix
out
the
of
roof,
10, I think that it's only
Not just that,
maybe it's
bro.
only one that if I was an old nigga with money to
Six or
trick off,
fixing
seven.
that I
roofs,
would be thinking
like
about like
them girls
maybe the
might get
roof.
their oil changed, bro, but they ain't getting roofs fixed.
They
Yeah.
might get trips and flued out and stuff like that. They don't not having to spend any money
But
on
again, like
entertainment or their car note.
so Trey,
That still
again,
help.
out of 10 women, like 10, if you just line
No,
10
they getting
women,
Ubered.
like how many actually
Nah, lift, nigga.
look good enough and have the BMI to get flued out?
I don't
Like
think these
you
dudes are
always
that.
the one that's on here talking about how XYZ women are fat and out of shape and obese.
Yeah, like what percentage of
And
How
women?
many- how many of these are
gynos and
Like, what percentage of
gynocrats.
Trey?
Yeah, like
But
this
the
this
thing is-
idea can't line up with everything else you think.
But it does, man, because y'all are thinking these old dudes are picky. Like a lot of people are really. Why do you think these girls are so entitled? It's because there's always somebody that's gonna like trick on them on the low, take them out somewhere on the low, help them on the low, just because they like accessible. And as long as they're accessible and have a good attitude, I think a lot of dudes like big girls. They fetishize them, so they still might. You have a better.
He's saying the big girls is getting fluid out too. And
Not
they
flued
like-
out, but tricked on. Like you have a
No.
better job. You have an easier job getting tricked on as a big girl than you would
Stop.
like.
Trey,
Stop.
dog.
Stop.
What,
Stop.
nigga?
Stop.
What are
Stop.
you,
Stop.
nigga?
Stop.
What, like?
Big girls are getting fucked, and that's it.
They getting
Man,
dropped
somebody
off.
Trey
tricking on
said
them.
single women and big women
They getting
Bro,
that's my
you-
bad.
that's
Single
it.
women with kids and big women, they all getting the bag from these niggas.
Get some
Yeah,
chicken wings,
bro. Yeah, bro. Like
You
especially
think
like,
really badly of black men. I ain't gonna lie to you. How you also
I-
think that all these men are leaving these black women to get
That's why he don't fuck
white
with
women
them,
also?
bro.
Like how many black men do you think exist in percentages? You
well, I
got
think
bunch
that a lot of these other races of women probably prey on black dudes because they see how low a lot of our standards are, unfortunately.
Bro, you talking to a bunch of black men, bro.
Why
mean,
would a
I'm-
woman
I'm
prey on a
just-
nigga with low standards? Like logically, that's what they're attracted to.
Why are they attracted to females with what?
Why would a woman prey on a nigga with low standards? Is that what women are attracted to?
No, because if that's what she qualifies for, and he's willing to trick, then that's the best she can do.
Transactional.
Exactly, it's transactional. A lot of these relationships these days, and I
you
think
have
a
to
lot
be
of dudes.
attractive enough to be transactional.
I don't think dudes really. I see dudes with unattractive women all the time.
No,
In
nobody like
Yes,
men
yes, yes.
Like,
but is
Said in
he
public.
broke or does he have a bag? Men with a bag typically aren't out with unattractive women in public.
Bro, a lot of dudes with bread don't
No,
have
they're
any
not.
swag. They don't have any confidence. Like they're not able to pull
But
it.
they got
You know
a
what I'm saying?
bag.
You
Name-
don't
name-
need that.
name one
You-
rich man that has a fat girl.
A girl. Well, it was kind of Steph for a minute, but that's kind of a reach.
It was
You
kind of
said-
who?
I
This
said Steph
star.
Curry. I'm just playing.
Come on.
No.
Oh
She's a
wow, that's
She's a
crazy.
little big bone, but nah.
Oh wow,
man.
yo, that is crazy.
This
No,
Mr.
I'm
Ariana
just-
Grande himself over
Yeah.
here, boy.
Nah,
Sir, boy.
No, I'm just mad. I was
Bro,
just
yeah, he
trolling.
flying out 1 out of 20.
No, I was
Yeah,
trolling. I was trolling with that one.
light skin.
I was
All right,
trolling with that
brothers.
one.
I'm
We
gonna
ain't
try
talking
and
nothing
like
about no
steer
middle
us.
class.
You said, what'd you say, Johnny?
We ain't talking nothing about no middle class. We talking.
Oh no,
about,
we about to get back there. Right now.
This
I'm
is
gonna
a
pull
middle
up
class.
two memes that you know love for y'all to react to, and we can kind of move from there.
Johnny, we ain't talked about it because ain't no middle class no more, man.
what
Well,
middle class?
we moving our way back there. damn, I must have put the same.
The gynocracy destroyed the middle class.
All right, let me get us back on track. EYL EM Dunlap, I think that's his name. I'll push play on him.
Dream may be dead for the middle class, but for those who put this financial level of economic terrorism together, I think the dream is alive and well for them, for sure. I don't think anything at this scale happens by accident. And I've always said it, like the middle class is in the road and people try and push back on it. But when you look at the actual data, people are suffering at scale worldwide while the middle is being crunched. So yeah, do I think the American dream is dead for the citizens? Yes. For the institutions, I think they're happier than ever. Because now if I have a class of people that were doing well and I somewhat eradicate them through AI or scaling, inflation, corrections in the market manipulation, I can control the population a lot better than opposed to if everyone is doing well. The American dream may be dead for.
All right. So I guess I'll start by asking y'all, is the American dream for the middle class dead? So 65% of the middle class purport that they are struggling / living check to check. I thought I had a different meme, but there was another meme up here that I was kind of speaking to and explaining about how pretty much most Americans today are one paycheck away from being homeless. What is y'all thoughts? Is the American dream for the middle class dead?
Well, yeah. I mean, I see. I got a meme up here. It's from Pew Research. I don't know.
Did you send it into a chat?
No, it's on my computer, so I couldn't send it in. But it just shows from 1971 to 2023, the middle class or middle income people, it went from 61% to 51%, and the lower income, it went from 27 to 30, so it's growing. And the funny thing, the upper income went from 11% to 19%. So like you say, I think that illustrates the divide, and I think and they designated middle class in 2023, 53,000 to 161 would be what's considered middle class from Pew. But that percentage of people, that populace, has been shrinking over the last 50 years. Both on the either side are growing. So I think that does speak to, the eroding middle class and the institutions doing very well and the people suffering. I think that speaks directly to the people suffering because of the institutions doing very well.
For sure. And I'll give two more memes that kind of speak through context a little bit. So this one right here talking about wealth inequality. When we kind of speak about the middle class and the shrinking middle class, this kind of speaks to it, where when you look at the wealth distribution in general and where it trends to. And then after that, I'll send one. I'll play one that deals with inflation and its impact on us today, and then we'll continue building the conversation.
The top 1% own 22% of the nation's wealth, still quite a lot, but nowhere near what they own today. The top 10% in its entirety own 60% of the nation's wealth, and the remaining 90% own 40%. The bottom 50%, they only own 3.79% of the wealth. In 2012, when that video was published, the distribution looked like the following. The top 10% own 67.96%, or 68% of the nation's wealth, rounding up, and the remaining 90% now own 32% of the wealth. So in about a quarter of a century, the wealthiest 10%, they started to own 8% more wealth, while the bottom 90% owned 8% less wealth. We can see that the gap clearly started to widen around that time, but now here's what that looks like in 2023. The top 10% now owns 69% of the nation's total wealth, with the remaining owning 31%. That means in just a decade, the gap has widened even more, with 1% more wealth going towards the top 10% and 1% less for the remainder. Let's look at the top 10% wealth and just look at how it's changed from 1989 to 2012 to 2023. 22.67% of the wealth in 1989 went to the top 10%. That number changed to 29.13% in 2012, and now 31.26% of the nation's wealth is concentrated among the top 1%. Now,
all right, and then
Here's what inflation did under the Trump and Biden administration. Inflation was at 2.5% when Trump took office and hovered between 1.5% and 2.5% until the pandemic started. According to the Department of Labor statistics, within months, it dipped to 0.1% as lockdowns stalled consumer demand, especially for energy. Now, when Biden took office, inflation was at 1.4% and it skyrocketed, peaking at 9% in June of 2022. Now, according to the St. Louis Federal Reserve, prices surged during the pandemic because supply went way down and demand went way up. The pandemic bottlenecked global supply chains, so goods couldn't be made, and people stuck at home were saving record amounts of money and getting trillions in government stimulus from both administrations. Trump signed the $1.7 trillion CARES Act. Biden signed the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. Inflation fell substantially over the last year and is at 2.5%, which doesn't mean things are getting cheaper. It means they're going up less. Here's what.
All right, fellas. Yeah. Context to react to.
Yo, and inflation came in recently at 3%, which was like kind of news because it was trending down and all of a sudden it kind of shot back up a little bit. So the latest report is that inflation was at 3%. That was like this past week.
Yeah. Any
Johnny, you muted.
Yeah. Nah, I was gonna say, I think like you say, both administrations, one was 1.7, one was 1.9.
Yeah, and I think that graphic was fairly fair.
And but I think like if you talk about like the Federal Reserve and like policies, and if you take even bigger than administration, that they flooded the market and they like we've talked about it on here before, but they ended qualitative easing. And so like once they flooded the money, they naturally had to start decirculating some of that money out of the market again. And the prices went up, and it's basically almost like if you're in the position, it's a transfer of wealth, because like they're operating in assets. They devalued the dollars that we operate in, and so we can do less of what we do day to day with our dollars, but they ended up taking more assets with it. So I think that's the okie doke that we got hit with. And they're trying to stabilize it now, but like you say, the values don't go back down once they once they get comfortable charging one price. They not gonna stop charging that price. So we gonna have to eat it, and it's a scary time. I mean, if you know with that American dollars, to me, it's kind of nasty right now.
Anybody else? Or I can ask the next question. All right, so this speaks towards inflation. So I'll ask y'all this specific part, and I think what G gave us could probably speak to the next question that I have. Has inflation started impacting your day-to-day life?
You said, has inflation impacted my day-to-day life?
Yeah.
Nah, this is open for any amount of
this is everybody.
I mean, it's no. I mean, I did notice I got some deodorant the other day at Target. It was like hella high, but other than that, like, I mean, I see people talking about eggs. I'm like, do niggas really eat eggs this much? Like, I mean, my eggs been high because I always got like high ass.
Man, got them mahogany eggs.
Yeah, I go to Whole Foods, like,
yeah.
My
eggs. I ain't gonna lie. I eat. Well, I actually don't even eat eggs like that, but I buy eggs a lot because my son is an athlete. So in the morning, I'm cracking 3 eggs every morning.
Protein, yeah. But like for me, certain stuff like that, I've never had a problem of spending on, like quality food or, so I didn't really notice a big difference. But I'm also not buying for like a family of 5 or something. So, maybe they notice more of a difference when they consume more. But I mean, shit been high. Shit was high with Biden. Shit is high now. Like, shit, I haven't seen like a huge spike in anything. Like,
and my bad. I guess to better frame this, not speaking like within like say the past 5 months or 6 months, but since inflation has increased, like let's just put it over the span of like the last 3 years, 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Has it been a drastic change in comparison to like maybe the past 10 years before that?
I don't get the 15-piece chicken wing no more.
Yeah, them
I'd
chicken
have
wings
had
is
to
definitely.
I'd have had to
chicken
drop
wings
it
is
down to
fire.
10. I can't. The 15 go crazy
That's a
now. You
good
can't
one,
even
bro.
do that.
Remember, they used to be like 45-cent wings, or they were 25-cent wings,
25
35-cent wings
cent
in
D's
college.
wings in Colombia, bro. I tell people about that all
Nah,
the
but
time.
wings in general, I think, got inflated more than other pieces of the chicken. Cause like anywhere you go, if you get the wings, it's like, why does the 10-piece cost this much? Like,
Cause you think about it, each chicken only got 2 wings on it, and niggas eating 20 by themselves. So it's like
That's 10 chickens.
it's a high demand thing. Like you eat
Yo,
20
but
wings, that's 10 chickens. Like
Dead.
done.
what's all this demand on wings, though, bro? We've been eating wings, and on top of that, they got all these migrants to do all these these jobs that they say that we need them for. If we had more of them, but it's still more
They say
expensive.
they need them for.
So like where's the demand? I was eating more wings when they were 35 cents than I am now, and it's still
I ain't
like
gonna lie. Listen, I
Yeah,
think that
I
the
got a fire
pandemic put a
plug for the
premium.
wings.
The pandemic put a
pandemic.
premium on crab boils and wings.
Yeah,
I
crab
think
legs ain't went up.
I think if America's biggest problems is like eggs and wings and maybe gas, like we in a good place. Like compared
But
to
no,
what's kind of
like
going on.
but you got to think like you're excused for it because like you're with a private owner that hasn't went up, but
Hold up,
rent
wait a
over the
minute.
past 4 or 5 years has went up drastically as well.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you
Nah,
put
like I
in
say,
like,
my rent is still low, but it has went up like over the years. But you know my pay has went up, so I haven't like been affected heavily. It's like
but a
my
lot of
my
people's rent went up like $700 over the past 4 to 5 years. Like since the
yeah
pandemic, it
yeah. I
went up
think
like
I've had
$700.
I've had a $400 increase in the past 5 years in my rent, but
Oh, that's still
you know
inflation. Though.
yeah. But my thing is like I always was like, all right, shit get higher, make more money, but I don't even think that's a good mentality because like eventually
No.
we got to be like, you know, shit is just getting high. Like we just can't keep accepting things.
But I mean,
man.
eventually it's about value. Like you can't just keep on paying like more money for the same
For the
service.
same shit, yeah.
Like it's a value proposition at that point. Even if I had the money, like if I could pay 100, why pay 300? Like that's how rich people stay rich. Is they they get the most value. That's why them rich people go to Costco and Sam's Club because they're getting more value for their dollars. So you know, at some point, the inflation, you know, we just got to fight back because we're losing like just the value on everything. It's just
Yeah, I ain't gonna like so many things be like small increments that it don't hurt until you look out like 4 years later. Like Netflix is like the perfect example.
Shit, $20.
Now it's like 20, but I feel like I remember it was just $7.99.
Bro, do you remember when
I
net
accepted when
neutrality
it went
came
to like
out and they
8,
told us
then
this
it
was
went
gonna
to
happen?
10, and I was like, okay, it's getting crazy, but I'm gonna accept it.
They
I
told
don't
us
know
this
when
was
it
gonna
went to
happen.
like 13, 15, or 17, but that bit it's at 20 now.
That's that automation. You ain't even notice it. And shit, they just went up on the price. And
But
sent
it's
you
a
an
lot of
email.
things is like that. If you don't went to Chipotle, you like shit done went up.
Oh,
If
if
you didn't
you
try
let
to go to
any
like whatever your
service,
favorite fast food is, you can't get a regular meal under $10 now.
yeah, McDonald's is $15 now.
And not only did they go up on the price, they go down on the portions.
Yep.
Man,
And you both sides. Pause.
Yo, this dude said 20 wings is 5 chickens.
We
Like,
talking real chicken wings.
He talking about whole wings
What is that
versus
leg?
the drumettes. You know, the
Yeah,
flats
yeah,
and the
okay,
drums.
we eat the whole chicken wing.
I ain't know.
okay.
Like
They
I'm
couldn't even
ignorant to how
separate
chicken.
That's kind of a conspiracy.
Is
They don't
the
turn
arms
one wing
and the
into
legs
two.
both equal wings,
So
or is that like one, or is that different?
it's
Nigga, you don't eat
drumette.
chicken?
Yeah,
I eat
This
chicken.
gotta be the yo, I ain't never heard a grown man ask this question, nigga. You don't eat chicken? Like you ain't never had no fucking chicken, nigga.
I've definitely had chicken, but this is my question because what he's saying, and this is like when A Black said it, I was like, yeah, that's probably right. Like 2 wings of chicken, but then he said it's
talking
20
KFC
with 5
wings.
chickens, and I was like,
KFC wings.
shit, they do got arms and legs. Maybe each arm and leg is a wing.
What they
the
call it?
legs
Wing
are
cut.
legs.
They got
The
legs.
legs are
Legs
legs and thighs.
The wings
But
have 3 parts. 2 of
That's
them
a
are
okay,
bicep and a
edible.
forearm.
oh shit, you're right. Yeah, because chicken legs is his own thing, and then wings
Bicep and
is
a
Like, what is this? What is we talking?
you right. You right. Listen,
Yo, niggas are like, yo, you don't eat wings?
I eat wings, but my
That
thing
shit
is like
drums
Ron
on it.
threw a question in it that fucked me up for a second.
Like our
Yeah.
arms are
I
our arms are
apologize for
2
being
parts,
fucked up, but I thought that
Just
like
one
maybe I was
arm.
looking past the shit.
but it's one
I don't
arm.
know.
This
You
nigga
said
don't
what?
cook at all.
Yo, y'all
What'd you
had
say?
edibles before this. Yo, this is some hot shit. Like, this is yo,
Nah, we gotta get to the bottom of this shit.
this is funny as hell.
Hey, but do you think as far as things creeping up, do you see how they're doing all this this probe into an audits into the spending with Doge? A lot of that spending is crazy.
Oh yeah, the dough spinning. Yeah.
But so much of it is also misquoted. I don't know. I guess like this could throw us into like a completely different, like when Johnny was like railroad and then did like this. What I hate is propaganda on both sides, where I guess one there it's his own discussion about having like 18-year-olds and like fresh out of like college, like everybody that you hire is between there that's doing like the deep probe inside the government. I guess like that it's just interesting to me.
But you think the left is like trying to sabotage this administration with misinformation, like and kind of like panic headlines and things?
Well, I think that both sides are doing the exact same thing. So, like for example, you heard over the past 2 weeks the what is it, the 50 million in condoms for Gaza shit, which is not true at all inside any capacity, but every single right-wing pundit's been running with that. Like, did you see USAID? They spent 50 million on condoms in Gaza. And like, it's not true. You can fact check it, but it's the same difference that the left is doing with a bunch of things that that they're trying to push in general as well. I can't think of like an example off the top of my head, but both sides are fear mongering heavy. If you go to Fox, they're saying how they're finding the craziest shit, and then if you go to CNN or MSNBC, they're saying the left version of the exact same thing. And it's just so much like misinformation and propaganda, in my opinion. You said what?
What was the fact check for the condoms? Like, what was the spend there? What was it? Like,
oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't on condoms at all, and it wasn't 50 million on condoms. I think that somebody was like that would equal up to like something billion of condoms in general. But in general, I think that there was like a small percentage that went to like, and I don't even want to like quote exactly what it is because of like I might misquote something and then we get inside like a rabbit hole, but it was not in the millions and it didn't deal with condoms as much as it like the US aid that was being pushed over there had nothing to do with buying condoms. I think that 50 million might have been itemized to go over there, and inside like a small portion, condoms was a part of it. So the headline just ran 50 million in condoms, not instead of like saying that this is like a small portion of something that's being done.
Oh, I see. So they had like $100 million for Gaza, and I guess that if that
Steve said it was the
condoms,
HIV prevention program in Africa. We'll have to fact check it, but I know it was dealing with something. I just didn't want to like specifically quote exactly what it was.
Man, we're not supposed to be sending them people in the Gaza like no condoms at all. Though. I get it might not be $50 million worth, but why are we sending them condoms?
I think
it's like a humanitarian effort in general.
Spread disease, I think, or AIDS or whatever. But
I didn't think them niggas was fucking like that
Is that
anyway.
really
Bro, people fucking everywhere. It
That's
could
what I'm
be an
saying.
apocalypse.
But I think over there they was fucking like that.
What yo?
Getting dropped off on
You
some
go to the
rubble.
most impoverished places on earth.
You
and then
might lose a
kids-
hand or something for fucking over there, right? Like,
Kofi, let me know what I was wrong on. You had to tell me.
And then to speak on Kofi, he might be right in a sense. Like I don't follow a lot of right wing, so I might not see their propaganda as much. So it is probably even or maybe more on the right side as well. But I know I just be seeing like a lot of it'd be like this executive order and this happened, and then it's like, oh well, it's not true, or he departed.
Oh yeah, my bad. Like food. What did they say? Food stamps was ending, and they stopped free lunch for kids. That'll be a left example.
but yo, is it fair to say though the feminine sexual
speculation
slut walk culture that exists in the United States is not what is like the normal culture for women in Gaza? Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
I don't think these women is out here like on the street like tricking, bro. Like they'll get beat for that shit, put in jail. Like,
but Gaza also is like, isn't it the majority of the population is under like 18 or 21 or something like that? Like it's a really young space.
They done killed all the men.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got a lot of kids out there. A lot of countries, their population youth is like under 25. Like, so that's kind of rampant. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Elon might get JFK, yo, and they gonna take all this money. Like,
I ain't mad about that with Elon. My bad. I don't need to say any of that on airwaves. I wouldn't be mad about that. I would be mad about that.
I'm like, yeah, y'all boys trying to get our algorithm fucked up.
I would be upset.
Elon, we love you, bro.
I'll be upset if that did happen. All right. So Kofi, if I was saying the wrong place, that's cool. I was just speaking about how they was like misquoting, but yeah, I would be upset if Elon got,
yeah,
I'd be
him,
devastated.
And the more I'm starting to really feel like that attempt on Trump was real now. Like at first I thought it might have been some marketing, but I feel like both of them dudes get too out of hand. They go do Abraham Lincoln, JFK, the same thing they do throughout history. When somebody don't go their way, they go get them up out of there. Because it don't matter how rich you are, you ain't bulletproof. They will get that dude up out of here. So
yeah, my thing is that I'm way more worried about Elon than Trump per se.
Yeah,
I think Elon is actually like effective inside what he's doing and what he wants to do, and it like even if you look at what he's doing with the government workers, it almost mirrors what he did with the Twitter takeover.
And he has the money to do it. Like our politicians, they have to talk and do this and do that. Like him and combine it with Trump, they can do some shit. But his whole Oval Office talk yesterday with his son on his back and him wearing a hat and that shit
he
was
flexing.
like
He flexing.
like what is going on? Like this shit is not weird to y'all. And like even if you are serious, bro, it don't even like you taking it serious. And to be Make America Great and to have like a literal immigrant be giving them like all this power, this shit is kind of getting real weird to me. And I used to kind of like
it's definitely interesting for sure. And never mind. This would throw us into a Pan-African FBA conversation. I'm move away from that and just say that I do think that Trump. And then I guess we'll try and get back onto the topic before we do call-ins. But one thing I will say, like I don't think that Trump has been like specifically positive in everything that he's done. But what Trump has shown, and it'll be interesting to see what Democrats do moving forward. But what he has actually shown is the power of the presidency. Like this is the most noise I've ever heard a president make in their first 100 days. And he's doing it unabashedly. And whether somebody gets rescinded by Congress, XYZ, he the first one I've ever seen like really try it all. And he's trying it all.
That's so true.
I don't disagree with that at all. But can he do anything that? But can Musk do anything that Trump won't allow him to do? Like Trump gets the last say for anything.
But
because Musk is just an advisor,
Trump's
right?
like a mob member though. Like Elon then paid in to make sure that he can do all the things, whether it's through the trade agreements, like the regulations with tech, the H-1B1, like all the things that will benefit him and his billions. Like he's paid into where like right now he's able to do that. Even like I know we was we was talking about like the FAA and like planes crashing. The FAA person that's supposed to be over that stepped down because of the conflict with Elon Musk and SpaceX and their back and forth. This was like prior to like the planes crashing and all these things like that, where like, damn, if it's no like FAA like person at top, it starts to make sense that planes are starting to crash, but it all still does go to Elon Musk, if that makes sense.
It does. It's just that if he gets so much funding from the government that if Congress controls that, they could always cut him off. So it's like a checks and balance type thing there, right?
Who you talking about? Elon?
Yeah, like he's rich because of government, contracts and SpaceX and tax breaks, and like he's like a welfare.
He's not specifically rich from government contract. Like he's rich from his share. No, he's rich from like his shares in Tesla and what Tesla has accumulated over like the life of the stock. And I think it's like one other investment, but usually you'll see him go from the richest man in the world to like second richest based on how Tesla's performing.
I think we missing the mark when it comes to Eli. It ain't even about his number, like the billions he got. I think it's about the assets that he got. He also got to think he got the most satellites in the air right now. Like he got Starlink, and that's like really like changing the way like we communicate. He done the Twitter thing. I think like what him and Trump got going on is Trump then gave him like the keys to the Ferrari, and like he letting bro kind of do what he want to do, have all the access, but Elon is like it ain't by accident that like Trump paired up with this guy. This is a very powerful dude based on like his private equity and what he's done. Like they even got like Russia and Ukraine was like bowing down to him, asking for him to turn on Starlink in the middle of a war. So I mean, he is a powerful person, and I think that's the reason.
You said Russia and Ukraine.
Like they Russia was
Ukraine was saying that
Russia was asking him not to turn it on. And Ukraine was asking him to turn it on, but this is in the middle of a war, one of the biggest, wars of the last 80 years, and both of these countries are coming to Elon and like asking him to do like make a move. So like he's a powerful guy. He got SpaceX that's done helped him. I don't even think he was really trying to fly.
Yeah,
out of space.
And I guess my issue is
that he was just practicing to get them satellites up there. He done did that, and like to have all those satellites up there and control communication like that puts you like in even more powerful spot than even owning Twitter would. So I don't think
isn't that like a partnership with NASA to some degree or no? Because I thought a lot of research
NASA has attempted to like it's beneficial for NASA to invest with him. So he did it out like he was using like Russian like things.
He got his own he got his own right. He built the whole company just practicing shooting rockets in the air to do this.
I mean, he used NASA
but the rockets that he was using were it was either Russian or German rockets. Like those, that's what he was buying to build the rockets.
Yeah.
Like these weren't NASA rockets that they was like leasing to him to figure shit out. Like he was just buying their rockets.
So doesn't he take off from the same place where NASA has their headquarters and everything like that too? In Florida? No, it's in Texas, I think.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but from my understanding, though,
I think it was some private spot.
From my understanding, good.
I think Elon's way more reliant on the government than we're really saying. Like even Tesla was made big because of like tax credits that people got.
Yeah, it's not like he's not like quote unquote reliant more than he is like partnered. It's like a lot of his business is gonna get funded via government paying his business to do a lot of the government's deeds. Like the government pays all types of individual contractors to do.
And there's a bunch of companies,
toilet paper,
Lockheed Martin gets $45 billion from the government every year. That's like more than like a whole bunch of agencies. So like our government supplies private companies. So that's just part of the business. Like if you that valuable, the government gonna come to you
and that's not unique to Elon. There's a lot of credible enterprises who get federal money from the government for different reasons for services they provide to the government, like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, like you name it. All the big dogs got federal contracts.
I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is the government could ruin Elon if they wanted to. If they didn't go with him for a lot of these contracts, if they
but they can't go anywhere else. He's such a unique entity.
He can ruin like NASA if he chooses to shut shit down.
Like what he has in the space realm is unparalleled. Like it's literally like space. Like you said, Starlink. That's one thing, but then you got SpaceX. Like these are a private space company, my nigga. Like, and it's the best in the market. Like,
right. And how would the government ruin Tesla?
Oh, because they could allow like they gave tax credits at first to get Tesla.
Right, but you're talking about at first, like Tesla they're good.
Okay,
like
so
niggas
now,
aren't using tax credits to get the Cybertruck.
Because as soon as Tesla took off of those tax credits, he lobbied to get those tax credits removed for these other vehicles. So he's able to use the government to kill competition.
Right. So they did offer incentives for electric vehicles. That's true.
They still got tax cuts for a lot of vehicles. The Subaru got
right. Hybrids were a part of that too. Right. Yeah. It wasn't just unique to Teslas, but Tesla is not even Elon's most valuable company, low key. I'm telling you, like SpaceX is really the play, and it's space. Like, did you see the thing recently where SpaceX brought those people back from space where nobody else could do it? Like, but Elon sent the fucking craft up there and brought the shit back and everything. Like I'm telling you, like what he can do and what he offers on the market, the government is gonna the government don't have the resources to build it themselves, so they got to pay for it. Like that's the American way.
So you think
fellas,
weapons
again, we're inside. I think not Trey, but G called it. We're inside. Weed talk, edible talk. Like we're deep inside the crevices that has nothing to do with the actual topic. Let's try and yes, pause.
This depends.
But hey, no, listen. A Black said I ain't got to say pause no more. I seen this post on Facebook. He said y'all niggas think about gay shit too much. But
you gotta be careful these days, man. The rainbow community. You want to let them know.
Yeah, nonetheless, again, call-ins they're up. Hit the call-ins. We'll tap in soon to kind of like round off the conversation though. Solutions to the whole shrinking of middle class, or better yet, we could walk past that. I think that every topic that we've always talked about has always rounded itself back off into a version of how will this impact Black America. So the shrinking of the middle class and what is happening, inflation, whether we believe that tariffs is going to push up inflation more, some might say like the 2 to 3% rise might be a piece of like this back and forth play that Trump is doing with the tariffs, the immigration. There's another idea that there's going to be a bigger push in inflation if Trump does remove all the migrants and immigrants at the rate in which he's saying, and then bringing back manufacturing to America. There's another idea that might bump it. Generally speaking, what does this mean for Black progress, the shrinking of the middle class? And is there anything that we could do?
I think, I mean, it's a little disheartening because I think it's them sacrificing, their own to spite our progress almost. I feel like them severing the middle class is they know they can't just hold Black people down. So instead of changing it from a racism thing they switch it to a classism thing, and I think it's tough. Other than revolution, and you go into different government styles, but the way it's set up now, it's kind of hard to find any plausible solution to reverse corporate greed, and I don't know how we'll go against that beast.
Man, I think the answer really is like, this is why we gotta prioritize getting back to the basics, the things, because when times were really against our people, we found ways to create institutions and enterprises and do all types of things that were marvel from people around the world. So we got to get back to the basics, man. We got to partner up with our people. We can't leave them behind. We got to prioritize making sure we partnering up with our folks and creating those opportunities where we can barter with each other in the community to overcome the reality of pricing. Like, we got to find ways to specialize in certain things, right? Like, if one person in the neighborhood is a mechanic, the other one's an electrician, the other one is a carpenter, the other one does something else, and everybody's working together to help people get through. Like, ideally, that to me is the answer to this sort of thing that's progressing, or the way that it's trending, rather. I think we got to get back to that sort of style of interacting with each other as a community, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Hey, Black, does the shrinking of the middle class put a damper on the push for Black progress?
He gone.
Oh, he gone. All right. Trey, I'll ask you the same question. There's a shrinking of the middle class.
I think the shrinking of the middle class
put a damper on the push for Black progress.
Think that if Black people were already in a position we were in, then we will probably be impacted the least, because like during like some of the what they call the stock market crashes, like Black people were impacted less by that because they were already living in the position they were in. So there's that, and also I think the push right now is for Trump to replace.
And but it sounded like you was talking about DEI surviving
and affirmative action and all that with some lineage-based tangibles. I think no, but I'm saying like that's one answer to the question. Like, with a shrinking middle class, then I think that we'll be able to handle that, kind of piggybacking off with what G was saying, to where it'll force us to work together and everything like that, to where we might shine out of that moment. So I agree there, but I'm saying the play now, how I think if we can replace DEI and affirmative action with some lineage-based tangibles, that will help us to be able to benefit the way that we never been able to benefit before. And even if he removes DEI and affirmative action entirely and doesn't replace it with anything, all that was doing was giving a leg up to people that weren't us anyway, since we were the primary beneficiary. So if he gets rid of that, then I think if it's more, that'll be more like a merit-based system where, like, out of non-white people, at least, unlike the Democrats, they don't prioritize.
Conversation last week.
Yeah, I caught some of it before I got took down, but
it's up.
As far as
it's
back up.
It's back
back.
up. Yeah.
Oh well, bet. But I think if they remove those programs, that'll be more of a meritocracy, because the Democrats, they tend to prioritize immigrants, rainbow, all the other minorities. They prioritize them over us. So if they remove those programs, that's going to put us more on an equal playing field. Like if that stuff benefited, Caucasian females, and they take it away, that's going to make it easier for us to compete. So
gotcha.
I think that
you're opening the can of like another 30-minute unpack. I think that most of the panel probably push towards the idea that America is not specifically a meritocracy. But I think that, like I said, you wasn't here, so that, like, I imagine you have your own POV when it comes down to that. But we do have one in this backstage, and I'll pull him up. Talk to us.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
What up,
Good, good, good.
It's
You
good.
know, this is a good conversation y'all having. But one thing like I had put about when y'all was speaking about rent and things of that nature is like, the price that you're paying for rent. I'm sure you have to have pretty good credit in order to get those places that's costing that amount. Why not invest into a condo or maybe something that can get it back, but you're just putting your money out there towards somebody renting when you can be investing in properties. I don't understand why, no one said anything about that.
I think that, but to your point about credit, tough to invest in properties if you don't have the credit to get those to work with those lenders too.
Yeah, but I understand if you don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm just assuming that if you're in a $2,500 a month apartment, you would have to have pretty decent credit in order to get in there. Unless, like you said earlier, saying have a co-signer or something like that. I was just wondering, wouldn't it make more sense to at least invest into a condo or, anything that's going to bring you something back than, spending your money just giving it for rent.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree also. I think the only barrier to entry to that would be being like if you are able to put yourself in position to have the down payment. Whether you're doing 3%, 10%, what is it? 3, 5, 7, 10%. Or if you're gonna do the full 20, most people aren't able to do the full 20. So they like depending on the program you're doing, like maybe is FHA 2%? I think it's 3% though, but 3, 5, or 7%. And depending on, and this is where you get into like if you're saying a condo, that could be pushing down at what 40,000 for just the condo, 350,000 to 400,000, and so you got to think about what 3% of that is, and that's going to be around what like if you say 300,000, that's like 30. Wait, is that like 3,500?
Like 9,000.
No, I mean 10%. 10% would be 35,000. 5% would be about 17,500.
Hold on. Yeah, let me look that up. I want to make sure
I ain't saying horrible. If 3% of 100 is 3,000, so if it's 300,000, it's gonna be times 3. It's gonna be like 9,000.
9,000.
Yeah,
around 9,000. But I'm just what I'm just saying is that
my bad.
If you guys just if you just understand what I'm saying. 9,000 it's not unreachable, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that, you know what I'm saying, people have, I don't know what nobody having savings or anything like that. Even at you guys' age, you know what I'm saying? I was always the person that, you know what I'm saying, I figure like, if I wish I would have pulled the trigger a little bit earlier on buying property when I was you guys' age, you know what I'm saying? And which would have made a lot more sense. To me, it's just that, you know what I'm saying, to me, it's like throwing money out just to say I have a nice place, but you get nothing back from it, you know what I'm saying, except getting someone that owns the property richer. That's how I feel about it. And when you guys are talking about the eggs and things like that, eggs has went up 3 times the amount they were in a year and a half. And anything that, you know what I'm saying, that the reason with that is, you know what I'm saying, people complain about it because even if you don't buy them like that, but to spend $9 on 18 eggs where you were spending $2.50 or $3 just a year and a half ago, that's insane, you know? And it's not only eggs, it's a lot of other things that's out here, you know what I'm saying? Everything is going up except to pay for people, you know, and that's just what it is. Everything is costing more, and they did a little shove with pushing wages up. What was that, about 6 years ago or so? Something like that. They was pushing wages up a little bit, but they haven't done anything since then. And minimum wage is still minimum wage, and it's just crazy, you know. I don't understand what, you know what I'm saying. It's like people, like y'all was talking about the middle class. The middle class is basically dead. And it's going away because, you know what I'm saying, to be honest with you, when it comes down to a household, if you have a household with 2 working adults, and they're, what I'm saying, they're bringing in pretty decent salaries or whatever, everything is still costing more, and they're paying what they're paying, and it's not, what I'm saying, it's useless. It's just like, what I'm saying,
the prices going up, but the wages are staying stagnant.
Yeah, it's insane. That's just my opinion on it.
I got you, Unc. I'm gonna take you to the back and bring up another guest, but you know, if we got time, we're gonna bring you back up. I thought that this was a good comment too. This might, but we ain't gonna get into it now, but that does throw us back into our minimum wage conversation. But it's a conversation for if we got time. Kofi, talk to us, brother.
Yeah, what's up now? This is a good conversation, and we all know the middle class is shrinking, and the middle class is not what it used to be. Let's say like 10 years ago or something. But I kind of look at everything from the outside and go down. So pretty much, we all know we have to understand when white America has a cough, Black America has the flu, right? So this is affecting everybody all over, right? But one thing that I find as of lately, like shout out to Uncle, what he was saying, because I find a lot of people like your age, like my youngest brother's age and my sister's age, and my other people that I know that's your age bracket. It's like it's harder for you guys to get like homes and get like the things that your parents got or even your grandparents got. It's a whole lot harder. So I'm going to assume
the
everyone
is way higher.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume everyone here is like middle class, at the most maybe upper middle class, and maybe lower middle class or working middle class.
That was the question I was supposed to ask, but yes. Matter of fact, as we're here right now, I guess everybody, do you identify what defines middle class to you, and do you identify as middle class? We can start with G and then work our way all the way back around to Kofi, and then you can finish off when we get back to you, Kofi.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely in that middle. Where in that middle might be arguable, but I own a few properties too. We can go on vacations. I can save some money.
And what defines middle class for you? To
me, middle class is having money to do like leisure activities and shit like that, like where you're not quote unquote check to check. You can do things like go to Disney World, go to whatever.
Like a concert could pop up and you'd be like, oh,
yeah, exactly. Enjoy little events. Like you have that discretionary income. Essentially, is Beyonce to me what kind of defines.
Shorty like, hey, I need that 450.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like discretionary, like you buying designer either. It's like you don't have to be wearing Gucci to be middle. You know what I'm saying? But like if you got discretionary income to where maybe that is what you're into and that's your vice or whatever the case. But that to me is middle class, having that discretionary income.
Yeah, that sounds like upper middle class to me.
I mean, upper middle, like I'm saying, it might be subjective or as to where in the middle. I pause. I can acknowledge that, but it's definitely somewhere in the middle.
Johnny, can you go to Cowboy Carter tour?
Oh, man. Can I do what?
Go to the Cowboy Carter tour.
Nah, cause
okay.
Never mind. I heard about some of the attendance, but I ain't gonna go there. But I can afford it. Yeah, I can afford it. That's what you asking. But do I consider myself middle class? I think by definition, I'm middle class. I'm somewhere in that middle. I wouldn't say upper middle class, but I'm I'm kind of in the middle. I'm middle class, I'd say. But outside of just like the income, like kind of what G said, the lifestyle from where I live to where I work to the places I eat, the things I do on the weekend, are what I would consider middle class. I feel like I'm afforded
something that I've seen a bunch inside, like just a little bit of research that I was doing. Do y'all consider like home ownership as a part of being middle class or no?
Not necessarily in itself, because you could be house poor as well. So
No,
Like
but just using the word as a part of middle class. That was something that I've seen a lot, where like the classic American middle class is like being able to vacation, have a like a house, quote unquote, a mortgage, like being able to put away a certain amount for savings. Like it's a little bit of a list that they kind of run down.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot
that could
of
be different contemporary. And
yeah,
just throwing it out there, like you listed properties as part of your middle class. So this is why I'm asking.
I don't think you necessarily. Cause I think there's a lot of middle class people that rent now. Like that'll be by definition middle class.
Yeah.
So I think it's a part of it. I think it's a part of the American dream. Eventually, I think to sustain the middle class. I mean, if you're gonna be in a lifetime of the middle class, I think home ownership is very important.
And then the way when I said it is because I have multiple. So I'm thinking, all right, if I got two, then that's like more of a middle class than like if you just got one, like that you live in. You see what I'm saying? Because you got one you live in and then you're managing another. Typically, if you're in a situation like that, you're in a middle to upper middle situation.
Maybe. I guess I don't know if like a lot of middle class have like multiple properties.
Properties, yeah, that's upper middle class.
That,
you have money to invest.
Yeah,
you have money to invest that doesn't cut into your everyday living.
It's all right. You was bragging. It's all right.
No, but so are you? So would you say you can't invest in the middle class? I would disagree with that.
No, that's like you took it to the extreme. I think that when you say that I have multiple properties, and that's middle class, and that's like indicative of middle class. It's more indicative of like whether you say higher middle class or upper class. To be like inside, like there's the working class and then there's the ownership class. Like that pushes you into the ownership class.
Yeah.
But we still
G, real quick, because you were telling me I was black. I was black bourgeoisie because I had a garage. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear
you. We hear you loud.
Can y'all hear me?
I get you.
Yeah. Tell them about that pool.
Oh, word. Oh yeah, I was black bourgeoisie because I grew up. My parents had a garage and then a yard. She was like, I'm black bourgeoisie. Meanwhile, you got presumably multiple garages and multiple yards.
Nah, see, you're presuming wrong. You presuming wrong. I got one garage, brother. My first property was a humble abode, a condo, like very simple. But where I stay now is like, yeah, it's a decent spot. It's a townhome, though. It's nothing crazy. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't stay like in some crazy neighborhood, if you get what I'm saying. I stay with like regular ass people. Students stay in the neighborhood, young professionals stay in the neighborhood, family stay in the neighborhood.
Do each person have their own pool?
Hell no. Nah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, see, that'll make you middle class. far as your main spot, because
I'm saying, isn't that a contradiction though? If I grew up middle class,
if you got a pool, that's definitely upper middle.
But I didn't have a pool. I said my friends, a couple friends had a pool. One was above ground.
All my friends had it.
Well, you had a. No, but what y'all said was that because
a garage is typically middle class, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I was black bourgeoisie because I had a garage growing up. So I'm just trying to understand.
That means I'm bougie too.
Multiple properties.
The black middle class.
That's what I'm saying.
Bourgeoisie.
I mean, but see, I didn't grow up like that though. That's I just didn't grow up in these conditions.
Like say that we
out the mud.
Like we probably either stayed or improved classes. Like remember you? I think
so
you asked
black
bourgeoisie.
No, they did 14%.
No, my kid will not.
I was about to say,
will be way more bougie than I was. I'll say that much.
My son's way more privileged than, and that's why I'm about to say. Like we spoke about my son wouldn't be able to like claim I grew up on XYZ and I didn't have XYZ, and that should be like the general progression and push for every black person and black family and black man XYZ. I keep saying XYZ, but in general, to where I have, blessed, been able to move out of specific class that one might have presumed that I had been made.
You had humble. We know we had humble beings. That's not what I'm getting at. But if somebody told your son,
my son would he wouldn't be able to claim any of that. So
that's not what I'm saying. Bro, you got can you let me get my question
okay,
off?
my bad.
If your friend's homie said you were black bougie, like y'all told me I was, will your friends' homies be accurate?
No,
I
am an Epicurean. I'm not even gonna front. I like nice things. I have great taste. I'm very refined, cultured, like very high class nigga, bro.
Class.
I'm definitely a high class nigga, bro. Like I got a whole
y'all
song
not
about
answering
it.
the question, bro. It's like yes and no.
I prefer to call myself a high class nigga than bourgeoisie because it's not necessarily. I'm not I don't feel like I have a bougie disposition.
Oh, so it's about disposition. That's what made me grow up.
You know, mentality. I don't have a bougie mentality. I just like nice things.
Okay, so it wasn't because of the garage.
Are you talking about like growing up or currently being? This is where I guess that we
right. I'm talking about if you were raising a kid.
My kid's I don't know if he'll be bougie, but he's gonna be like middle class.
But y'all said I was bougie.
No, that nigga's gonna be working for cheap. Let me tell you that right now. Like he gonna have to learn the value of hard work and $1. I can tell you that right now. Like
know that for you.
we go, you know, hey, he'll have it better than say I did. But see, like when I was
how much you giving your kid an allowance? Like $2 a week?
When I was growing up, my birthday present was I get to choose. I get to go out to eat. So I get to go to Chili's and get fajitas, nigga. That was the birthday present.
Like when it comes down to child labor and allowance.
Shit. Yeah, that's the shit gonna be for this nigga. No allowance. This nigga gonna get like not even real allowance. He gonna get like time allocated. Oh, you do this right here, then you get some time to do some shit you want to do at the end of the week. Like
you allocating time for Roblox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we gonna we hey, we gonna be bartering.
I guess I'm bougie. I'm doing extra time for Roblox.
Hey, look, they gotta earn that. They gotta earn that time, bro.
but how many kids were just like spoiled though? Like they wouldn't really bougie.
Like you and Trey, that was it.
So we're bougie. We're bourgeois. You were bourgeoisie, right?
But we had the same thing you had. Or not. I don't know.
Y'all grew up in that shrinking middle class.
See, I knew this wasn't about the garage. Is what I'm getting at because y'all made it seem like it was just because I had grew up with a garage, and now you got a garage.
We never said it was just about.
No, right now I'm middle class. Right now, yeah, right now, right now.
Yeah,
I got you. So you can have the same thing I had growing up, like in your life right now. But my parents were bourgeoisie, but you're not. Even though you had the same accommodations, that don't make any sense to me. But it's probably because you understand that that's not like a term you really want to describe to people. You want to put that jacket on me, but you wearing that same jacket. You don't want to put on you, bro.
But Trey, like if we zoom it out and just like ask a couple questions. Did you grow up inside?
We're not talking about growing up. We're talking about you
or
now.
like a neighborhood with a yard.
A house with a yard, just like you have right now.
So all right,
I'm in a townhome. I'm in a townhome.
So, yeah, and we can go back. And we can go back.
I'm in a one was a condo, the other was a townhome. I still ain't got no yard, so I have two properties.
Let's keep walking down.
No yards, nigga. No yards.
Did any of your was there homeowners that were or renters or people that owned the house that were college kids?
Wait, what?
College kids. Were there
any neighbors
that were college?
Did I have neighbors that were college kids?
Yeah, I got them right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't live in the inner city. I live in the suburb. So, and there wasn't a college like that for them to.
So the answer would be no, right? Was your neighborhood primarily white or black?
It was primarily white.
So
if you live in a white neighborhood, neighborhood, that means you're black bourgeoisie.
No.
If you have the same house in a white neighborhood, you're not bourgeoisie.
No. You see how now you're isolating one thing that I'm saying, but I'm just walking down. I just ran down three of them.
The three things. Do you have college kids in your neighborhood?
Right. I got college kids. They renting though. I don't think they own. I think they're renting. They're renting, but they're in the neighborhood renting.
Yeah,
like that don't even. You're asking me questions that don't even apply to you right now. We're comparing where I grew up to you right now. So
I was just describing everything G said just then.
But we're talking about where you are now compared to where I was growing up. It looks pretty similar.
I'm saying this is where okay, you talking this between ISO.
One at a time, I guess, man, because I can break both of it down. But y'all are Like,
we just broke down G.
My shit is just what it is. Like all those things, check.
Yeah, it just aligned. If you want to say me, I think that I live in like the black middle class inside this area right here.
Because I
don't have like my neighborhood is mainly black still.
And look,
not bourgeoisie.
But look,
I don't know. Like if you want me to say that I'm bourgeoisie, I don't know if I hit those.
You said I was.
If you want me to.
You said I was, and you got the same thing. So
well,
I'm just pointing out the contradiction.
No, it's not. Like,
of the neighborhood is different.
If we look,
if
we look at like the comparison point of like even like your parents and what they did, what like comparatively and relatively your house and the neighborhood was, and your neighbors and how much like their GDP was in comparison to my neighbors, like it would still make a difference. Like if we go to school districts, and,
I'm in Hillside District.
Allocations, it would still paint a different picture. Still,
man, there were
so like I'm inside middle class. Like you were in the
half
suburbs.
a mile from me.
Like these are way different. You just said that you grew up in a white suburb. I'm not in a white suburb. It's a different thing. But I'm not even arguing.
There were pastures. Like my neighbors had pastures. Like it wasn't like some
nigga. I didn't even know what a pasture was, nigga. Growing up, like I didn't even. That's just shit you read about in the books. Like that's just shit you read about in the books.
Got, like,
your neighbors had pastures, nigga. Like,
hey Trey, nobody in this neighborhood is getting pools
pools
installed inside their house.
Pools,
and they were doing this inside the 90s.
Trey,
There's a big gap in what you're saying. Again, I'm middle class. I'm not even like running from that.
But I think
I'm bourgeoisie though.
But no, hey, can I wrap this up?
We only said that you grew up there, and your parents, like everything that you say about bourgeoisie, your parents aren't your parents.
And yo, can I add some context too? Because it's not that you're bourgeois.
Hey, yo, hold up. Hey, hold up.
You don't have it when you growing up. You don't have.
You didn't say that your dad was inside of
middle class bourgeoisie. That's what you were saying.
Bro, you said that. All right, so your dad's not. All right.
No, he's not.
Trey, but Trey, what was said was if you growing up and you don't have it, you view the middle class as bougie. That's more so is if you growing up in a certain environment, you view those who have pastures and pools as bougie. Like that's how you view it.
But then when you get there, you don't view yourself that way, which is interesting.
Yeah, because
we started from the bottom. Now we here. You were always there. That's different.
That's not what molded me. Pastures and pools.
So, but
like this, like even here in New York, where the average person
pools.
Where the average person doesn't have a pool. If you have a pool, and you here in New York where it's mostly cold all the time, you have a underground pool, you got money. You have an above ground pool, that's still money because it takes a lot of maintenance. You have to. It's a lot.
Upper class though, like the middle class, like from the definition.
Nobody used the word upper class,
but bourgeoisie infers upper class, and that's what I think. That's what Trey's pushing back because the bourgeoisie, there's a stigma with that term, and I think what he's saying is he's illustrating that there's a large. It goes from 50,000 to 160. And like you can still fall in that upper middle class and not have the privileges of the ownership class and not be in that bourgeoisie class.
No, nobody's arguing that.
I agree. I think what I'm saying is if you grow up a certain way, you view regular middle class shit as like rich shit because it's so like it's not it's a reach. It's not something that you even like at a point think is attainable. Like you grow into learning it's attainable because nothing around you reflects that.
But just
like
because your perspective was that doesn't mean that that's the reality, and that's what Trey's saying. You can't call the man bourgeoisie.
No, reality is based off of my perspective.
But bourgeoisie, you can't say he's an upper class person. He grew up middle class.
But you see it like you're doing the word game. Yeah. Nobody ever said that he was an upper class person. The other funny part is that I don't think anybody's even stated that Trey current day is bourgeoisie.
You said I grew up bourgeoisie.
Right.
And bourgeoisie,
and that's okay.
means
Like
the
you
middle
did,
class
like
typically with reference to
you had the garage, you had
materialistic
your
value
neighbors inside
of
the white
conventional
suburbs.
That's
attitudes.
middle class. It's not bourgeoisie.
The capitalists,
Yeah,
the
it was
One
black
garage, or
bourgeoisie,
you had
like
a
in
double
comparison to
double
all
car
other
garage.
black
Bro,
people.
So is
Johnny,
it's the
QJ
capital.
is
again,
QJ bourgeoisie?
I
He
don't
would have
think
to
so.
be. He would have to be because he got a garage.
Okay,
Right,
Is
so
it a
based
listen,
on
double?
all right, my bad.
It's a
Listen,
2-car garage or 1-car garage?
it's
Two.
two car.
You put two of them in
So,
there.
Nah, you
so
bougie.
listen. Okay,
Two.
listen. If the idea is that QJ is bourgeoisie, then that's cool. If that's what the metric is, I don't care. Like, it's nothing to run. Like, if my son has grown up way more privileged than I have, it's not even like I don't even see why like niggas look at that as such an insult.
That's how it's supposed to
Your
be.
parents did good. Like, I
Yeah,
think
that's how
that
it's
like
supposed
Johnny,
to be.
Then
your
why don't you
people
put
was
that
like
jacket on yourself, then,
important.
Q?
Yeah,
This
like
is a
if you want me to,
compliment.
if you want me to say
Hey,
that
we should-
today, yeah, this is it. Like if you want me to say that today I am bourgeoisie, great.
Oh, it took a long time to get there. But okay.
If what I am, if you
That's all
believe
they
that I
wanted.
am bourgeoisie, that is cool. Like
Or you could have not called him bourgeoisie. You could have took it back.
who, me?
Hey, what's the most bougie
But
part
no-
of Charlotte?
South End.
Word. Hey, Johnny,
Who
you
say
stay
that?
there?
And I stay right here.
Oh, word. Hey, Q, what part of Charlotte you in South End?
No, I'm in album.
Hey, hold on. South End is not the most
East.
bougie part. It's Myers
It's-
Park. It's Dilworth.
No, you have to own a home there. Like if you're living there and you're not an owner, what is the bougiest spot? Stop playing.
Uptown.
If you live
Yeah,
in
hold
Thank you, Johnny.
on.
Thank
But
you, Johnny.
a bougie spot's gonna be renting out spots. If you're in a bougie neighborhood, no one's renting out spots. Maybe
Exactly,
an Airbnb,
bro.
but you're not
Like-
renting spots out.
No,
and even
like,
Uptown
Nah,
is more has
mad
Uptown
niggas
has
rent.
higher
no,
rent
no.
than South End.
There's a
Mad
spot.
niggas rent.
Like but I said, there's a place
I
where
got you,
whether you're
bro.
talking about condos or like where the money is at. If you're a young person that has money, you're in South End. If you don't
Yeah,
if you don't own a
yeah.
house and you have money, you live in South End. That's right near downtown.
Or
Everything
Uptown.
everything
why-
is inflated. The prices, even to live there, cost way more than the
So,
average.
so why
You
do
can,
the
you can
Panthers?
literally drive 10 more minutes and get like $300 knocked off whatever you're renting it. It's a bougie space.
Uptown's more expensive.
If you
way
go
more
downstairs and there's literally bars full of white people, you're in a bougie space.
expensive. If Michael Jordan and
Schoolboy
Cam
hopping,
Newton are in your
dude.
neighborhood, then you're in Uptown. Like there's a reason the Panthers.
That's beyond
aren't playing
bougie.
in South
That's
End.
beyond bougie.
Yeah.
When you start saying MJ and Cam Newton is your neighbors, that's not even bougie
But you
anymore.
just said you just said the most expensive place to live in Charlotte and rent, and then
No, I
it's not.
Nobody said that it's the most expensive place to live in Charlotte. Like you're now turning the words that we said. He just said where's the most bougie place, or what? Yeah, I think
Most
he
bougie
literally
part of
like,
Charlotte. What's the most bougie part of
What part
Charlotte?
of Charlotte is the most bougie? And the truth is that like South End is the all right. So
South Park.
South Park's not even close.
South Park pretty
It would be South End. If you want to make the argument, you can
All
make
those mansions-
Uptown. If
all
you
those
want to say that
mansions
Wow,
Uptown
wait,
is
there's
part-
a place in North Carolina called South Park.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That took me for a loop. All right. Let's check it.
Mansions
I gotta check that
everywhere.
out.
It's rich as hell too. It's
Oh yeah,
rich
no,
too.
that's rich people. That's
Doctors,
upper class. It's not
everybody
even
there.
just bougie.
It's
Oh,
old.
but
And-
you,
and-
but when you
Yeah.
talk about me,
and
I
also
grew up there.
comparatively, like we're talking about black
Bougie is not like where the
and we're
athletes
using black
stay.
bougie, not just like white folk bougie. We're talking about black bougie. This entire context is shaped by black bougie. Like
But it
what are
means
you
the
doing
capitalist-
relative to all black
Bro,
people? We've only talked
Bro,
about black bougie.
But you putting a jacket on me, the definition of that is the capitalist class who owns most of society's wealth and means of production, bro. Don't put that jacket on me, bro. That's bullshit.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Wikipediaing you the fuck out of you.
Again, like anytime we talked about this, we talk about the black bourgeoisie. Yeah, I think that your people fit into that. Like y'all were inside like an establishment class. You had parents that made really good money that got you inside a really good neighborhood. You went
Like
to a
you.
really good school that
Like
was
you right now.
predominantly white.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. There's nothing wrong
There's
with that.
And
nothing
that's
wrong
what I'm
with
saying.
it.
Like it's such a
Don't put the
weird
jacket
thing
on
that
me,
like
don't put the
middle
jacket on
class,
yourself.
like black kids that grew up middle class, like you hate your parents for what they did. It's great.
Bro,
Like
I'm thinking-
embrace what they did. That shit fire. Like, I'd be mad as hell if
No,
you was
Q,
acting like
Q,
y'all right now.
Q.
I'd be
The
like,
only
goddamn
reason I-
son,
the
like
only reason I
I
think
worked
it's
to
weird-
get you a decent little education. Make sure that you had some shit. You had neighbors with pools around them and shit like that, and you over
Gee,
here on the internet
it's not weird.
denouncing
The only-
everything. Your
It's not
parents
weird.
worked
The only
hard.
weird.
Your people got
I'm not
degrees. They got the
saying,
good
G.
little job. Like, it's great.
It's not weird. The only weird part is you're putting a jacket on me that you qualify but won't put on yourself. So by doing that, you're
already
proving why it's weird.
You
That's
can't even
the
say I
weird
don't
part about it.
qualify. You asked me, is my son bougie by that? I said, sure, cool. You
Okay,
asked me,
then.
am I by that? Sure, cool.
Okay,
I
then
didn't
you
grow up
finally
that, and that's cool.
accepted that. Okay,
The thing is that, like, I'm not.
But it's the come up is what we're talking about.
Yeah, like
we're
just
there
how you
now,
grew
but
up.
his come up and your come up are two different things.
Yeah,
that's true. But I'm
it's
saying
the only
like,
thing that we've only talked about is how you grew up.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you're
I
asking
guess
me
when
like, have I moved classes? Sure, and that's fire. I'm happy that I did that. That's a
of
rarity,
course,
and
that's not
I would be
what
upset if my
the
son
argument
pretended
is.
like he was something other than what he grew up in.
Nobody's doing that,
but you know that is the thing that there are some people.
Don't put it just on me. Put it on your
But bro,
son
there are
too.
some
He's a
people
bougie,
who
he's
reject.
Bougie. My son's bougie too. Fire. Like you and my son
okay,
bougie.
thank you. I'm cool. I'm cool then. I'm cool.
But cute. But there are some people. I know some people that they grew up so privileged. They feel like an outcast around other people that didn't grow up as privileged. So they reject their privilege and kind of, I don't want to use the word lower their standards or whatever,
Yeah.
but to fit in, well, okay, I grew up in a 2-parent home. I have morals and all this other stuff. Well, I'm gonna hang around the thugs and the gangsters and stuff like that and act like I had a hard life coming up when that's not even it. I know several people who did that, threw away their own privilege. You know what I'm saying? You didn't grow up like that. Your parents sacrificed. They got degrees. They did what they had to do in order for you to have a better life, especially if they had a hard time coming up to attain those degrees and to attain their status in life. You know what I'm saying? For I would want my son to be, you know what I'm saying, to say something crazy like that after I did all that. I gave you a better life than what I had. So appreciate it.
Be proud of them neighbors with them pools, bro. 2-car
like
garage.
you do now. Like you do now, yeah.
I ain't got no neighbors with pools.
You don't got no.
I got no white neighbors either, but hey,
yeah, be proud of them neighbors.
Hey, but Q, what about neighbors with the pastures?
Right,
what about neighbors with the pastures?
Bro, the one you talking about the ones
that was a new one, bro. I ain't never heard a nigga say my name, bro. This is the first time I ever heard a nigga say my neighbors got pastures, bro. I ain't never heard that before.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm from the country, bro. I don't know if that being country makes you bourgeoisie though, but they drove their tractors to high school. I don't know if that makes them rich.
Now you went from bourgeoisie to redneck, like god damn.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to put the bourgeoisie jacket on me. I grew up around redneck. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's not like a bunch of Texas oil money with. Like, you make it seem like my neighbors had Texas oil money and all that stuff like that.
Well, I don't know.
It's a little better than Gastonia. It's a little better than Gastonia. Think about Gastonia.
That's what I'm saying. I grew up.
That's right.
Oh, so y'all grew up in the struggle then?
It's better than this. Is Gastonia in the struggle?
Like every area has its spots. I'm sure there's a fire Gastonia, like Gaston. What is it? Gaston Day is not nowhere near the hood of Gastonia. There is a bad part of Gastonia, and there's some fucking $700,000
The hood
homes
in
over
Gastonia
there.
ain't no worse than the hood in Rock Hill. It's the same shit.
You said the what?
Like Gastonia and Rock Hill are basically like very similar.
No, but you said the hood in Gastonia is no different than the hood in Rock Hill, but the suburbs also. We're not talking about the hood. We're talking about the suburbs. But hey, we can finish this on. Hey, shout out Don P. Don P. We got in this show, but appreciate you coming up. And we about to talk. We about to chop shit inside the after show. But let's end this.
Can I get like 2 minutes to close my point? Because I know we went down a rabbit hole other stuff, and we can let Don P go. I'm gonna be real quick though.
All right, quick.
But yeah. So now, all I'm saying about the middle class, you know what I'm saying, is shrinking, especially people in your age bracket and younger. Because I have people around your age, whatever. I don't know, because about my pullout game or whatever, stuff like that. But there's people like your age bracket and younger, they're not having kids. They got people. I'm like, you've been together with your shorty or your fiance for like how many years? You have no kids? Like, can't afford it. Can't afford it. We're trying to get a home first. You know what I'm saying? If we have a kid, that's going to, you know what I'm saying, set us back a little bit. We can't even, I got a homeboy, same thing, with his girl for like 6-7 years, engaged in everything, trying to get a house. It's like, bro, I can't afford no kids. So it's
I ain't gonna lie,
something.
I don't believe, never mind. That's a different story for a different day. But yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's hitting like your generation. And again, just piggybacking off of what Unc said, is like, hey, look, there's just different time. We should have did more, invested more in this, but it was easier for us. You know, saying right here, you know, a lot of people like your age and younger, they're coming into an economy where like everything is just wild and not expensive. So yeah, the middle class is shrinking, and I just hope that, you know, saying for Black people's sake, that even if that's the case, at least have one kid, people. At least have one kid, because how I'm seeing it, like in the next 10 years, you know what I'm saying, elementary school is going to be empty because people can't afford kids. But that's a different subject. I'll pass it to Don P.
Gotcha. Hey, Don
Yeah,
P.
you gonna close the show out, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna close it out, and then we can kind of, you know,
All right, that's
chop it up. TB, I see you. I see you in the back end, or in the back chat. I gotta make that switch. But nonetheless, this has been a fire conversation. We kind of have been all over the space, but we've kind of tried to keep it and bring it back in multiple different times. But again, we talked a lot about the shrinking middle class. We did hit on some Elon, some Trump, some Black bourgeoisie, obviously. But the main thing, again, speaking towards what does the shrinking middle class mean for Black America? Maybe we'll do a part 2. Who knows? But this has been a fire conversation. At the top, it is G-ish Pod. You got Johnny, aka J-Rock 989 at the top. FBA Trey, aka David Walker. Kofi, Don P 914, and TBI's in the back, and Unc called in. We appreciate you. But nonetheless, it's been a fire conversation. And like that, we out. Peace.